I got your wig, ho. Ha ha. You're mad. Miss Wikiana. Miss Wig, Miss Wig. Miss Wikiana. Miss Wig. Miss Wig, Miss.
You know, she's not only here in photographic sense. She sent a message. And now I have not seen this.
Okay.
Let's take a look.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, ladies.
As you notice, I'm not there. I am going away to a treatment center to address taking antidepressants and drinking.
You order a glass of milk, and the ladies are a bit suspicious.
Actually, I have a history of ulcers and gastric reflux. So I was taking antacids that day when I arrived.
Oh, we knew exactly what was going on. I'm gonna be honest. She was so embarrassed by her being completely drunk at Newburgh.
She was on it. She was on one.
She drank till her bottom lip was drooping.
So she's making a point to not consume too much alcohol amongst the group because she knows that anything she says can essentially be used against her simply because Karen has had such a strong opinion about everybody else.
Karen was like, you know what? I'm trying not to give you anything to use against me.
Because I cannot control what's coming out of my mouth, and I can't have these girls telling whatever I say.
Karen, back in the days of our friendship, our early friendship, Karen used to drunk dial me in the afternoon, and we would have some funny little kiki moments. She is hysterical, and I'm glad she's finally letting loose and letting everybody else see.
But say in the local establishment here, this restaurant, popular restaurant, is The Village. And so this Black lady used to get drunk and fall off the bar stools. And, this was going on for years, And so that's the real reputation that she has in Potomac as the old drunk Black lady that falls off of the bar stools. She'll freaking run around after these young little boys and all this stuff. That's her real reputation. Like, seriously.
Hello. I'm Officer Baxter County Police. There's other things being video and audio recorded at this point, all right? You can go.
No, it's not okay.
Well, it has to be.
Cut it off now.
I can't. You can go with them.
You can.
I'm not allowed.
I'm like this. And
okay, so
what do you
saying?
Need to know? What do you need to know, sir?
Let me answer his questions. And
no, I am the person that was driving.
Okay, you were the person that was driving. I understand that, but I need your driver's license. Can you get me your driver's license, please?
No. Wait, can you take my purse up, though?
It doesn't take much.
No, it does not. Sweetheart, can you speak to me, please?
Okay. Hey, your car's on fire. Your car's on fire. Get away from your car.
My car?
Still smoking?
No, it's on fire.
You know I hate you, right? Can I get... Oh, wait. You know I hate you, right?
That's okay.
Oh, wait. Can you take this off?
I can't take the handcuffs off. We got to go inside.
Everybody's gonna hate you that way. Do you know who I am?
I don't.
You've
told me your name is Karen.
No.
Let me help you up.
No, I did not.
The waiter from the first episode DM'd us and said, you guys have to come here because we were laughing so much. Like, how are Karen and Giselle? Where are they right now?
Right. We were in a diner, first of all. And it is Karen's spot. Like, she goes there all the time.
Yeah, and the waiter DM'd us and was like, "Yeah, I'm Karen's man, and this is the deal."
Donut.
Yeah, he like invited us.
Like man?
I don't think like blue eyes. I don't think it's blue eyes.
Okay.
I think he might be
rainbow eyes.
Yeah,
yes.
rainbow eyes. Yeah.
I can't. I don't know, but if I could determine, yes.
Do you think? I just want to start off by asking
this. He was the owner, by the way.
Okay. And do you think that she had a little talk with him before?
Absolutely, of course. Karen doesn't do anything without making sure she's covered.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, which we can kind of appreciate that about her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. But like, remember when he said, Karen doesn't drink here or whatever? Well, that's not the restaurant that she's always been busted in drinking. That's not when Sharice said, "Oh, she falls off of bar stools." It's the restaurant around the corner.
Oh.
Okay, so that's where she was before.
Okay,
But I would be remiss if I didn't take this time to thank those who truly touched my heart during this whole process. And the first person I want to thank in the girl group is Giselle. And I think what's really helped me, Giselle, is what the note you put in my flowers. One step at a time.
Oh,
So,
she's gonna make me cry. My position with Karen was like, look, we've been out drinking together. And I know you call Ray or you Uber or whatever. Like, what happened here? Because you're not silly. You're not a dumb girl. You make smart decisions. So that's where kind of like the conversation was. And it wasn't like, shame on you. It was like, yeah, of course you have to take responsibility for what happened. But like, we've all been in a situation of out drinking. I've been with you. And we always make sure we get home in a safe manner. So what happened?
Yeah. And it seems like she says a lot. You'll find out.
Right.
Refresh the blogs.
Yes. So I'll wait for that, and that's fine. And that's just Karen being Karen, and I get that. But it was more from like, look, I can't have anything happen to you. Like, I care about you. I love you. I don't want anything to happen to you. So we have to like make sure that we have learned something here, and this is never going to happen again.
Yeah. And do you feel after a reflection from filming this past season, everything that she is in a place of learning from it?
Totally.
Because it seems that way. So I'm glad to see. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know exactly where it happened, right? My kids drive up and down that street all the time. So, it wasn't like a shame on you or like I'm being shady. It was more really just concern.
If you live under a rock, we're talking about Karen Huger from the Real Housewives of Potomac, who was finally vindicated with a video.
Did you say finally vindicated? The vindication happened. Who was vindicated? The streets of Potomac or Karen? Who was vindicated?
Listen, I haven't watched the season, but when I saw that people said that she claimed she was going to be vindicated, I was like,
ma'am,
if this is being vindicated, I don't want to see what being guilty is like.
Well, you saw guilty. Actually, there was the mini movie called Where Your Wig At is like guilty, like as charged. You're guilty as charged.
I should have probably taken a cab. You probably should have taken a cab, yes. Thank you. Or an Uber. But I'm very rich. When you Google me, you're going to be so ashamed of yourself. I'm bad as fuck. I don't think I did anything bad except the driver.
We're laughing, but like, it's very, very sad. It's just sad, right?
I mean, it's very sad. I hate to say it though. I don't think those that are familiar with that person were shocked by what we saw. I know what I saw. I was like, yeah, that's par for the course. Like, I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked by the nonsense coming out of the mouth. I'm not shocked by the denials and the deflections and, that apparently were happening from the jump. I'm not surprised.
In your right mind, you don't say that you're going to be vindicated and you know that video exists.
But I'm not surprised by any of that. I'm not surprised that you filmed a whole season and she said she was going to be vindicated. And shoot, when the crash initially happened, she's telling whomever, TMZ, oh, I was just sad or something. Like, I'm not surprised by any of the events that happened. Like, and that's the sad part. I am wondering though, I don't know, have there been any Thomas Jefferson sightings lately? Like, have we seen Thomas Jefferson in the last 60 years?
I am Thomas Jefferson's concubine. And I don't have hesitation. Your point is what? No, what you need to do is tell me what
Real quick, what is the real beef with Karen?
And who?
You.
Karen and me?
Yeah, because one minute y'all throwing shade, next minute y'all supporting each other. Is there a real beef? Is what I should have said. Is there a real beef? Any underlying issues?
The truth be told, I think Karen and I, obviously we started the show together.
Yeah.
let's pray for Karen because she's going to court next week.
Mm-hmm.
I think that in Karen's mind, she wanted to be whatever she wanted to be as far as the show was concerned. And she had a lot of people in her ear. And so I think that caused her to like come for me.
Yeah.
But I've known Karen since before the show started. Like we were friends.
Okay.
So I knew what she was doing sometimes on camera was just some nonsense, and I was gonna ride with you with this nonsense.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've been doing this for so long now. Like at its core, we love each other. At its core, we root for each other. But she just comes for me because she gets bored.
Got it.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. I'll play with you.
Oh.
Jazzy, you sent me special notes that really touched my heart. And I know that Candace is not with us anymore on the show, but Candace reached out to me and has been a soldier in support and love. But wait a minute. There's a special person on my list. Andy Cohen.
You know who I am? I do not. You do? I do not. Well, I'm the Real Hustlers at the time. They call me the Grand Donna. I am 750 million debt free. I'm Karen. Thank you. They call me the Grand Donna.
The Grand Donna?
I don't know what the fuck that's about. Andy Cohen did that. Go ahead.
Your notes meant the world to me. They were always on time. You and Giselle can fight over who called me the Grand Dame first. But I plan to be coming back as Karen Huger only because Karen is enough.
Andy Cohen did that. They call me the Grand Dame. I'm black, I'm rich, and I own the plantation of and you.
Wendy, you seemed unmoved by that video.
Did I?
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that she didn't thank Wendy. They're so close.
Is that
as
why
well.
you, is that?
Did you reach out?
I think it'll be selfish for me to frame it in that way. This
Okay.
isn't about me. This is about her.
Okay.
I have reached out to her. I supported her throughout the season.
What were your reactions to the verdict, when Karen's DUI verdict?
Okay, well, you know, it's really sad. At the end of the day, I want what's best for her, and I know that watching that video was not only terrible for us watching it. I'm sure it was terrible for her as well. That's right. So I feel for her.
We all see that everyone's concerned about Karen.
Yes.
How's she doing? Do you all confront her during this season? What can we expect?
You know, she recently just checked herself into rehab, and I'm really happy for her to make that decision and step towards bettering herself. I do find it interesting that she's doing it before her sentencing. And I'm wondering, is she doing it because she feels like she needs help, or is she doing it because she feels like it will lighten the blow of the sentence?
Well, let's give her grace.
We're all giving her grace.
We're all giving her grace.
Well,
I think that's the question.
Yes. What was your reaction to her checking herself into rehab? Yeah.
Well, I'm glad for that. Yes.
Yes.
I'm happy that she decided to go the extra step and get help that she needed. So I applaud her for that. I feel like sometimes, like what you're trying to say is by us questioning her as her friends, you're trying to lessen what we're saying, and that's not fair. This doesn't have to be cookie cutter all the time. Part of friendship is also being honest.
We should be supportive and positive.
Do I also feel that she's going to rehab right now because she's trying to lessen her sentence? Absolutely.
A reality TV star fighting drunk driving accusations will soon learn her fate. A jury is still deliberating on Real Housewives cast member Karen Huger's DUI charges. Fox 5's Lee Zhang live in Rockville tonight at the courthouse with the latest. Lee.
Hey, Kenneth, good evening to you. Yeah, 3 hours in and still no verdict from this jury. Now, during closing arguments today, the state made a point to say that this is what they called a very simple case for this jury. However, the defense argued the exact opposite, saying that in their opinion, this is a case that is filled with doubt. Now, for background, this all happened in March of 2024, that crash happening on Oakland Drive in Potomac on the night of March 19th. Karen Huger refused medical treatment along with a field sobriety test and a breathalyzer. The defense presented 2 witnesses today, including her cousin. He says he was on the phone with her when that crash happened. He testified that she did disclose some personal matters to him that night on the phone. But aside from sounding a little sad, he says he was not concerned about her driving. The defense says he is the most important witness in their case, as Huger's demeanor has been a part of the evidence presented. Police and an EMT testified that she was, quote, incoherent. They called her uncooperative on the night in question. There was also body camera video shown where her husband suggested that she, quote, probably had more to drink than she should have, to which she did agree on camera. Now, again, the jury has not come back with a verdict yet. We're about 3 hours since they were handed this case. We do know that just a few minutes ago, the judge did give this jury the option. They can go home tonight, come back tomorrow morning, and continue deliberating. However, they have chosen to stay until they reach a verdict.
All right, let's get back to that breaking news tonight. A guilty verdict in the DUI case against Real Housewives of Potomac member Karen Huger.
Yeah, and just in, right now we are getting our first look at the police body camera video from the night of the crash there in March that led to her arrest. Take a look as officers try to question Huger on the scene.
Karen, how much are you drinking?
Talk to my husband.
Okay, can I talk with?
Yeah.
I can't talk to your husband. He's not really involved in this incident.
Good.
He can help me translate or get you to cooperate.
He is.
Okay.
Yes, you okay.
How much you drink tonight?
Karen Huger, just moments after her drunk driving crash. She was convicted Wednesday in Montgomery County and now faces 2 years in jail. DC News Now's Ben Dennis joining us live from the scene of that March crash. And Ben, this body camera video really gives us a look at some colorful details from that night.
Colorful and a sad and a scary situation, frankly. It was in March when there was a crash right here where the Real Housewives star was caught on video by authorities. And on site, you can see where the tree bark is still stripped away in the Avenel neighborhood. The video shows the aftermath of the situation, and we're told what happened that night could send her behind bars for 2 years.
Your car is on fire. You're not going over there.
I'm not drunk. You're hammered.
Tonight, a first look at Real Housewives of Potomac cast member Karen Huger after a DUI crash in March.
Get me your driver's license, please.
No.
The reality TV star now found guilty of several charges after crashing her Maserati, left crumbled, crossing a median, taking out street signs, and hitting a tree on Oakland Drive. Montgomery County authorities releasing the video now that her trial is over. First, showing the moment she's offered medical care in an ambulance.
We're just gonna check you out.
Huger said she just left a friend's house. Her husband, Raymond, trying to get his wife to cooperate with police.
And I'm assuming that you had like a couple of beers or something
Yes,
like
that's
that.
all I had.
Photos show a Stella beer bottle inside the car. Huger put in handcuffs and arrested for suspicion of DUI.
I know what you will not do is tell me what I can't do.
The ride to the police station documented too.
I should have probably taken a cab.
You probably should have taken a cab, yes.
Do you know who I am?
I do not.
You do?
I do not.
Well, I'm the Real Housewives of Potomac. They call me the Grand Don.
The Grand Don?
I don't know what the that's about. And they call me that.
When they arrived to the police station,
You know I hate you, right?
What?
Do you know who I am?
I don't.
Oh, God.
That's what I
I'm
thought.
lit.
Yes, you are lit.
Extremely rich. I'm extremely
Peter's gonna read you.
I am Thomas Jefferson's concubine.
And you may be wondering, why was Huger riding in the front seat of that police cruiser? We were curious too. Montgomery County Police said it's, quote, common practice for officers to transport people inside of a cruiser that does not have one of those cages separating from the driver's seat to the back seats. Now, the sentencing in this case, that is slated for January the 29th.
Why do you all think Karen decided to take this case to trial?
I don't know. Karen had terrible legal counsel. Knowing that footage was out there, who would advise that she has a public trial?
Absolutely. And maybe she didn't remember what happened that night.
But has anyone spoken to Karen?
I have.
You
and
have?
Yeah, I spoke to her today, and things are looking good.
Okay, good.
It was postponed today.
Our actual trial date will be September 23rd, and we'll continue working on your defense before that. But that's where we are.
All right. Well, I feel much better about it. So thank you. I'm exhausted, as you can imagine.
Understood.
No sleep.
Understood.
But hey, it is what it is.
I think, though, as dots are being connected for me, I didn't watch the tapes before the trial.
No, that's such a fucking irritant. Poor white who just let that shit go.
So I'm sitting there in the courtroom, like, I have to finally watch it. Because I kept saying, well, surely they've made a mistake, right? Because everything's not connecting for me. And I watched, and I'm telling you, I didn't recognize that woman. I didn't know her.
It wasn't you.
Your driver's license for us, please?
No, you cannot.
Okay,
You ready?
Karen. Okay. Let me ask you a question.
She's not free to leave. Okay?
I understand this.
Okay,
so
what
you're
do you
saying.
need to know? What do you need to know, sir?
Let me answer his questions. And
no, I am the person that was driving.
Okay, you were the person that was driving. I understand that, but I need your driver's license. Can you get me your driver's license, please?
No.
I need to tell you something now. Self-medicating is one thing, but I started that 7 years ago when Mom and Dad died. And so when I started taking antidepressants, it was fine. It would help. But then I needed more and more as life kept lifing.
Yeah.
And so instead of going back to the doctor, I adjusted my medication.
And my parents are dead and gone now.
I'm sorry about your dad.
Me too.
Yeah. That was...
I need to break. I knew this was going to be hard for her.
Before you beat yourself up too bad, do you know that there's 6 million car crashes every year in the United States? Wow, you had a car...
How many of them, though, Ray, self-medicate and drive? What happened to me was self-inflicted.
Okay.
I drove. I had that accident. I put people in danger.
Maybe when we were watching the footage, maybe she was watching it like us and seeing how awful she was.
That's probably the first time she saw it.
She no, it wasn't. Weeks ago was reported that her counsel asked for the footage to be suppressed.
In Touch can exclusively report. According to court documents obtained by In Touch, a Maryland judge denied Karen's motion seeking to suppress certain evidence. Back in March, Karen, 61, was involved in a car accident while driving her 2017 Maserati. She was the only person in the car when it struck a median and a street sign at an intersection before slamming into a tree. Police arrested Karen due to them believing she was intoxicated at the time of the crash. Prosecutors charged Karen with driving under the influence, negligently driving a vehicle in a careless and imprudent manner, endangering property, life and person, and various other counts. As In Touch first reported, Karen claimed after her crash she spoke to Officer Kyle Baxter and Sergeant Brett Trahan. The reality star said she was checked out by medical professionals but refused further treatment.
So it's clear that not only were they aware of the footage, they were also aware of the context because they didn't want it out.
They're trying to get rid of it.
I hope that answers your question.
That's what I'm saying. Her team tried to get the footage.
I know. It's big delusion.
Well, we had actually seen Karen's attorney out and about a few weeks before, and he was just saying, like, oh, everything's going to be fine, just reassuring us, too. It was Giselle, Robin, and I. And so we believed him. We thought they had this in the bag, like they knew what they were doing. When that footage aired and we saw everything that transpired, we wondered how on earth did they decide to go to trial?
From what I understand, she pushed it. She didn't want to take any deal.
What?
Yeah.
Was she offered a deal?
Twice.
What kind of deal?
Yeah. I've heard 6 months house arrest.
Yeah.
I heard 60 days jail.
And she didn't take 6 months house arrest?
Ay. I mean, I'd have taken that.
I would have taken it.
I would have. I love my house.
I would bedazzle my little ankle bracelet.
Me too.
Yeah, slippers on.
Your Honor, Mr. Martella started his presentation by referring to when the cameras are on and maybe Ms. Huger was caught on a bad day. Your Honor, this was not one bad day for Ms. Huger. This is a pattern of conduct that has been going on for roughly 20 years. She picked up her first DUI offense in 2006 here in Montgomery County. She received a probation before judgment on that. 2 years later, or I think it was 1 year later, 2007 or 2008, she picked up another DUI or DWI offense in the Eastern District of Virginia. That was pled down to a reckless driving. And then again, in 2010, the DUI that she had out of the U.S. District Court here in Greenbelt. This is a pattern, Your Honor. Ms. Huger has done a lot of things, and I think that's great. She has done a lot of great programs, things that the state would have wanted her to complete. The AA, the treatment centers, the Right Turn, these are great programs that she needed to complete. However, it is striking to the state that she did not complete any of these programs until being found guilty for a third time of an impaired driving offense. I've heard nothing from the defense that she had completed any type of alcohol counseling or treatment or program after the first DUI or after the second one, and not even after she picked up these charges a year ago in March of 2024. She didn't do anything to rehabilitate herself until after the guilty verdicts came back in this case in December of 2024. Ms. Huger did go to a wellness center back in August, pre-trial, the Miraval Resort. I did look into that resort. It had 0 alcohol rehabilitation services to offer. It was quite simply a spa, a wellness center. So that's what she did pre-trial, and then it wasn't until this guilty verdict came back in December that she enrolled and got the wake-up call, I guess, to enroll in this beachside recovery. I addressed it in my sentencing memo, and I don't want to repeat myself, but the state also does have concerns that when she did choose to enroll in a treatment center, she enrolled in one that the website even touts itself on equating it to a luxury 4- or 5-star hotel experience. And I understand, as Mr. Martella indicated, when people are going through rehab, they want to be in a setting that's comfortable, and I understand that. But Ms. Huger has now, this is her 4th driving while impaired, driving under the influence offense, and it does not appear to the state that Ms. Huger has taken this seriously. Your Honor, I've seen what appears to the state as a pattern of deflection from Ms. Huger ever since this incident occurred in March of 2024. On scene, and Your Honor saw from the body-worn camera footage, on scene, she blames the accident on a car. She says she was ran off the road. That turned out not to be true. There was no evidence of that or no testimony of that. That's what she said on scene. She makes another statement about that publicly right after the accident, saying another car headed straight for her, and again, deflecting blame from the collision. And now in her sentencing memo, it seems there's more deflection of not admitting fully that she has a problem with alcohol, but rather blaming it on mixing alcohol with these antidepressants. And, Your Honor, I would like to note from the sentencing memorandum, Ms. Huger has been taking these antidepressants for, seems like, decades. It's not as if, I understand the dosage may have changed, but it doesn't appear to me that this is a new prescription that she just started on right before this event and didn't know the effects. It seems as if she has been on this medication for decades and should have known better. So again, Your Honor, it just seems to be a pattern of continued deflection from Ms. Huger and a continued pattern of not fully understanding the gravity of the situation. From her prior 3 instances, she has served 0 jail time. She received the PBJ in 2007. The 2008 event was pled down to a reckless driving, which was just a payable offense, I believe. And then the 2010 DUI, she did actually serve 18 months of probation on that. I did learn that recently from the clerk from the Greenbelt District Court. But she has served 0 jail time. And quite frankly, Your Honor, it's gotten to the point when you've received your 4th driving under the influence offense, something has to give. And the state is concerned that she has been given those 3 chances. Part of the reason we have a probation before judgment in Maryland is we understand, and the state understands, people are entitled to a second chance. But this is not Ms. Huger's second chance. This is her 4th incident. She has gotten her chance on 3 previous times and has learned nothing. I'd also like to bring up to Your Honor that shortly after our verdict in December, Ms. Huger did film a segment with her producers from the show, in which that was later released. It was just released a few weeks ago, in which she stated she's not an alcoholic, but rather, again, saying that the problem is these antidepressants with the alcohol. And I bring that up just to say, Your Honor, that I think that there is a problem with Ms. Huger, again, not taking full accountability of what is going on. If this was her first incident, I can see how maybe she would, go along that route. But when it's your 4th DUI, there is a larger problem. That, again, I just don't believe that Ms. Huger is fully appreciating. I will briefly address the issue of the 2010 DUI. We do have a printout of a docket sheet Mr. Martella and I have tried endlessly to get any type of record from the Greenbelt District Court. I've talked on the phone with several people. I've requested it. Because of the age of the offense, they said they don't keep computer records from offenses that are that old. And of course, the physical files get destroyed after some time, and this event is 15 years old. In my supplemental supporting exhibits that I can send a courtesy copy to the court, and it was filed again on Monday, I believe, the last page of that does have this docket sheet, and I can pass this up to Your Honor if you don't have it in front of you already, where it lists the offense as DUI alcohol. I understand that on her Maryland driving record, it shows through as a driving while impaired, but it was a federal offense that she pled guilty to. From my understanding, the United States Code titles it as a DUI. The United States, the federal code does not distinguish. There is no federal DWI. I understand that maybe you can have a state DWI that's processed through federal court, but there is no federal DWI. She pled, in my understanding, to the federal offense, which is a driving under the influence. So from the state's perspective, this offense, while it did note on her driving record as driving while impaired, it is a driving under the influence event, which would cause those subsequent offender penalties to be in play for that 2-year backup time. And does Your Honor have the copy of that? I can pass up.
I have the copy of the record you gave me.
Yes, and on the last page is the docket sheet from
yes,
that.
I have that.
Okay, perfect.
I've reviewed it.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, as Your Honor is well aware, we have certain purposes of sentencing: deterrence, rehabilitation, and punishment. And I understand that Ms. Huger has made tremendous efforts to rehabilitate herself, and those are, again, things that the state would have wanted her to complete, and we are glad that she has completed them. But I do think by the time you get to your 4th DUI offense, there does need to be some level of punishment. We saw, her statements on scene of just this very entitled behavior of making statements that this is never going to touch me, and you should Google me. You're going to be ashamed of yourself when you find out who I am. And I just don't think, the state does not think at this point there has been enough accountability for Ms. Huger. She has done this on multiple occasions before, and each time she walks away with a no jail sentence and maybe some probation and some fines. And as we can see, she has done it again. So the state does believe at this point that something has got to give. She's been given the benefit of the doubt 3 times before, and nothing seems to have changed. So, Your Honor, the state's recommendation at this point would be to sentence her to the 2 years of backup time, suspend all but 6 months of active incarceration. We would ask that Your Honor place her on supervised probation. We would ask that the interlock be a condition of her probation, as well as continue in the treatment programs, the AA. I understand she's already done the MAD Victim Impact Panel, which is something the state always recommends as well. But we would ask for the 6 months of executed incarceration at this time. Again, it was a collision, as Mr. Martella indicated. This is not simply driving down the road, speeding a little bit, or swerving. This was a collision where her car it started to smoke. It was inoperable. And she's extremely lucky that she did not hurt herself nor anybody else. And the state does not believe at this point that Ms. Huger has fully appreciated and taken accountability for her actions at this time. And that's the state's recommendation.
Thank you, Ms. Kramer. Ms. Huger, is there anything you'd like to say before the court imposes its sentence?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we have to hear from you.
I prepared a statement. Didn't want to forget anything. Your Honor, I want to apologize for taking this case to trial. But I also want to thank you for allowing me to have the trial. I think it was the mirror I needed to take a hard look at myself and the direction I was headed in. I think my prior cases, I showed up to court, followed the advice of my lawyers, got the case resolved, and went my way. I like to think I took the cases seriously. But this certainly has been such a much different experience for me. An experience that demanded that I take a look at myself, truthfully. I think for many years I was putting a Band-Aid on some personal history that was leaving me very unhappy. It is possible that just like taking daily medication for high blood pressure and cholesterol, I just thought medication for depression and anxiety was something that came with the territory of getting older and having more responsibilities and more to worry about. And certainly there was a sense of entitlement that I should be allowed to keep on consuming alcohol. I have been successful. It's been 15 years since my last DUI. Why should I give up the social indulgence? Well, this case is why. Drinking responsibly, especially while taking medications, mean not drinking at all. I failed at that miserably. I understand how lucky I am that I hit a tree. Thank God I did not hit a pedestrian. In recovery, I was told of a young man named Kevin who hit a tree when he was 17 years old. Kevin was in a coma for 30 days. Kevin is now permanently brain damaged and his life will never be the same. I asked God, why not me? The only answer I could come up with was that I was spared because I have a responsibility to use my unique optic lens and teach others and affect quite possibly millions of people with the message of not drinking and driving. I understand better the brutal clarity of the fact that when you're behind a car driving, you're not just driving for yourself. It's my responsibility to make sure my community members make it to their destination safely as well. I want to thank the officers who came to my assistance that night and apologize for my attitude back on March 19th. They were truly professional and gracious toward me at a time when I was not. The body cameras definitely prove that they were right and I was wrong. I should have handled the situation differently. Your Honor, I have a lot on my plate now, but I understand this is all for a very good reason. I will not let you down. I will not let my community down. I will follow through on everything I am currently doing to maintain my sobriety and everything you ordered me to do. And I can assure you that AA is going to remain a part of my life for the rest of my life. I will graduate out of programs, probation, and interlock terms will end. But I know that the relationships that I am creating with AA could and should and will last a lifetime. Those relationships are the greatest offer that I can offer you of my terms of sobriety and success. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Yeager. I appreciate your comment. Karen Yeager was convicted by a jury here in Montgomery County of driving under the influence of alcohol. What does it mean to be under the influence? It means that she was affected or altered by the use of alcohol. Before Ms. Yeager was arrested, she refused to perform simple physical coordination tests. After she was arrested, she declined to allow the police to administer a breath test to determine the level of alcohol in her bloodstream. Both the coordination test and the breath test would have served as objective evidence as to how much the alcohol she had consumed had influenced her on March 19, 2024. However, the policeman's body-worn camera video at the crime scene provided proof positive of her inebriated state. Ms. Yeager consumed so much alcohol that she drove at an exorbitant speed as she entered a quiet, sleepy Potomac neighborhood. She drove so fast and her coordination was so compromised that she flew her car onto and over a median where it sheared off a pedestrian crossing sign and spun around, slamming into a tree and landing on the grass. The impact was severe enough to crumble the front end of her Mazda and leave Miss Huber pinned behind deployed airbags in a drunken stupor. Miss Huber stumbled around the newly formed accident scene. Her eyes were wild and wandered, focusing neither on the paramedics nor the police as they endeavored to ascertain the causes of the accident and her physical condition. Despite her alcohol-induced confusion, they persisted in trying to engage Miss Huger. Her speech was mostly unresponsive, evasive, and slurred. Her disheveled hair and clothes inexplicably never seemed to bother her. Miss Huger demonstrated drastic mood swings. For example, one minute she was telling paramedic Han how pretty she was, and the next minute she used a crude phrase to dismiss her. She babbled incessantly as she was being driven to and while at the police station. Miss Huger's bizarre behavior and demeanor were the result of her choice to consume excessive amounts of alcohol. The jury has found the defendant guilty of driving under the influence of alcohol and negligent driving, failure to reduce her speed, and failure to notify the Motor Vehicle Administration of her change of address in 30 days. So what is the appropriate sentence? Karen Huger is no stranger to driving drunk on our public roads. In 2007, she was found guilty of driving while impaired by alcohol here in Montgomery County. She was afforded a sentence called probation before judgment, which prevented her from receiving a license revocation or long-term suspension. This sentence for first offenders in Maryland is typical and usually comes with a requirement to attend an alcohol education program and a lecture from the judge as to what penalty would confront her should there be a reoccurrence. For most people, the uneasiness, expense, ignominy, and lecture from the court deters future drunk driving. One would think Miss Huger learned her lesson in 2007. In 2008, before the ink had dried on Miss Huger's probation contract, she was arrested in the Commonwealth of Virginia and charged with driving under the influence of alcohol. She had an alcohol level of 0.08 or above, which is above the legal limit. Her case was plea bargained down to a reckless driving offense, for which she received no jail time. A mere 3 years later, in 2011, Miss Huger chose to drive drunk again, selfishly putting her drinking and driving desires and habits ahead of the public's safety. This time she violated the drunk driving laws in a third jurisdiction. She was assessed a fine once again and maybe received a stern warning from the court. Karen Huger certainly had the hang of working the system by 2011. And all prior warnings had gone in one ear and out the other. Maybe getting caught for driving drunk was expensive, and time-consuming, but she remained undeterred. The purposes of sentencing are: 1, adequate and justified punishment for the offense and offender; 2, protection of the community; 3, deterrence of the offender and other potential offenders; and 4, rehabilitation. So what should her sentence be for driving drunk this time? Maybe a higher fine than before? A more intense alcohol treatment program? And a lecture from me that if she commits a 5th offense, she very well could go to jail. Would a sentence along these lines really be in the best interest of the people of the state of Maryland? Would it deter anyone, including Ms. Huger, from driving drunk? Would the public be safer when traveling on our roads? The case before us today occurred on March 19th of 2024. The defendant's 4 drunk driving offenses have spanned a 17-year period. Can we believe that she's only driven while intoxicated 4 times in the last 17 years? Or is it more likely that she's been very lucky and her inebriation has gone undetected? The court will neither consider the defendant's celebrity status nor the inane statement she made both at the accident scene and while in the police car after her arrest as a basis for enhanced punishment. She was filled to the gills with alcohol. After Ms. Huger was arrested in March of 2024 on this case, she spent 6 days at the Maryvale Resort in Arizona. Not a rehabilitation or counseling center, but a luxury spa. After the jury convicted her of driving under the influence of alcohol in December of 2024, and 18 years after her first alcohol-related conviction, she sought treatment at the Beachside Recovery Center in West Palm Beach, Florida. The state correctly points out that the brochure describes the Beachside Recovery Center as a resort. She is currently enrolled in the SunCloud Health Outpatient Program. How about a program without a summer vacation connotation? Ms. Huger is finally addressing her substance addiction. Better late than never. Her treatment will help her rehabilitate herself if she sincerely wants help. Time will tell. What's the guarantee she's done driving while drunk? Unfortunately, there is no guarantee. Ms. Huger is a very accomplished television personality and entrepreneur. She's the mother of 2 very successful young adults. She's been involved in several impressive civic programs which have substantially aided her community. However, if while driving drunk, Karen Huger had struck a child who was in that pedestrian crossing, killing that child, does anyone think the child's parents would be consoled if told the drunk driver was a reality TV star, a good mother, and had volunteered for several community projects? Logic tells us that if we continue doing the same thing, we will keep getting the same result. We need to help Ms. Huger break this dangerous and destructive pattern and at the same time protect the public. This case demands a different outcome. The guidelines offer the court a wide sentencing range. The floor is probation, and the ceiling is probation. If there was ever a time to label guidelines as ludicrous, this is the time. Would it take a 5th, 6th, or 7th alcohol-related violation before the guidelines would recommend stronger medicine than probation? I agree with the state's position based on all the documents I've been giving in the law that the maximum sentence allowed in this case is 2 years. Please stand up, Ms. Huger. The sentence on this court on count 1, driving under the influence of alcohol, is that you serve 2 years at the Maryland Department of Corrections with 1 year suspended. You will serve your 1 year time at the Montgomery County Correctional Facility. You will pay a fine of $2,000. Upon release, you'll be on probation for 5 years. After 3 years, if you have complied with all the conditions of probation, the remaining 2 years will be unsupervised. The conditions of probation are as follows. You must be supervised by parole and probation. Your probation begins upon release from jail or incarceration. Your first appointment with the supervising agent is 2 days after your release from jail or incarceration. And the address is on the sheet. You must report as directed and follow your supervising agent's lawful instructions. I have excluded 2 about work or attend school. I've excluded 3 about getting permission from your agent to change your address. So I've excluded 2 and 3. You must obey all laws. You must notify your supervising agent if you're charged with a criminal offense, including a jailable traffic offense like this. I've excluded 6, which deals with owning dangerous weapons. You must permit the agent to visit your home. 8 is really superfluous. It says you can't possess or sell or drugs or alcohol, etc. That would be a violation of obey all laws that's in there. You must appear in court when notified to do so. There are special conditions of your probation, which I'll address momentarily. Your total, we'll get to that in a minute. Special conditions are as follows. You will not be allowed to drive any motor vehicle for 1 year after your release from incarceration, regardless of what the Motor Vehicle Administration permits. That starts that year after you're released, after you serve your 1 year sentence. When you resume driving, you will not drive with any alcohol in your system. Upon release, you must have an operable interlock system installed in any vehicle you drive for the duration of your probation. You will enroll and make every reasonable effort to complete any alcohol education and treatment program ordered by your probation agent. On count 2, failure to reduce speed, I sentence you to a $500 fine. On count 3, failure to notify MVA of the change of address, I fine you $100. On count 4, negligent driving, I sentence you to a $300 fine. The total fines are $2,900. That must be paid at the clerk's office. Court's cost you must pay. That's to be determined by the clerk. You'll have to pay a supervision fee of whatever it is. I think it's currently $50 per month. I didn't overlook the other things the state suggested, and maybe Mr. Martella in my conditions of probation, but I am not ordering them. Ms. Huger, you have 30 days. You have an absolute right to appeal this case. You have 30 days to note an appeal to the Appellate Court of Maryland. you have 90 days within which to ask me to reconsider my sentence. I can lower it, I can keep it the same, but I can't increase it. You have no right to a 3-judge panel because the overall sentence did not exceed 2 years. The 2 rights that you do have, the 30 days within to note an appeal, must be done within 30 days. Mr. Martella, who's as versed in the law as anyone in this county, can tell you the pros and cons of that, and same with the 90-day request to reconsider your sentence. You can take advantage of both of those rights, 2 of those rights, or 0 of those rights. It's your decision. If you ask for a reconsideration of sentence, that has to be acted upon within 5 years. All right. Is there anything that I didn't address, state or defense?
No, Your Honor. Just confirming
Pardon?
Just confirming. Obviously, there was no probation before judgment offered.
Not even close.
Okay. Just confirming for the record.
Did I ask? I didn't ask.
Yeah.
As I understand your order, she's not to drive a car for 1 year after she's released.
Correct.
And
regardless of what the Motor Vehicle Administration says.
Right. And then, is it true that then, after that year is done, then she installs the interlock?
Correct, for the remainder of her probation.
Gotcha, okay.
The probation does not start today. It starts upon release after serving the 1 year.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Everybody did a nice job. This court will stand in recess. All right.
Top of the news this hour, all eyes remain on the Montgomery County Courthouse, where earlier today, Real Housewives of Potomac star Karen Huger learned her fate. Joining us now, our very own Bob Barnard outside of the courthouse with the latest. Hey, Bob, what's going on?
Hey there, Guy. Things are quieting down a little bit here. We definitely had some fans of the show who were here, Real Housewives of Potomac, and we just heard now from the attorney for Karen Huger. He said that she is accepting this 1 year jail sentence with peace, that she's had time to reflect on this. It seemed startling to almost everybody in the courtroom when the judge said, look, I know the state said sentence her to 2 years, at least it was the recommendation of the state, to sentence Karen Huger to 2 years in prison, suspending all but 6 months, so meaning 6 months in jail. The judge said no, 1 year in jail, and that when she gets out a year from now, she cannot drive her car for another year, drive any car for another year after that. And she was to be handed over to the custody of the Department of Corrections right away, leaving the courtroom and going right to jail. She did speak before the sentencing and said that she thanks God that nobody was hurt last March 19th, just before midnight out on Oak Lawn Lane in Potomac when she had this single car accident, and admits that she has an issue mixing alcohol with prescription drugs for depression and anxiety, but that she has been going to AA meetings and plans to attend AA meetings for the rest of her life. The judge, when he handed down the sentence, said, you still seem to think it's a problem mixing alcohol with your medications, not that you have a drinking problem. And he said, look, in the last 17, 18 years, this is your 4th time you've been charged, at least initially, convicted by a jury, in this case in December, of driving under the influence, and you still don't get it, even though you'd been in treatment, outpatient, inpatient, went for 31 days to West Palm Beach earlier this year after she was convicted by a jury of this DUI charge, but that you still don't take this seriously. So the judge said you're going to jail and threw on these other restrictions, no driving for a year afterward. Even the folks who are fans of the show who've been watching this tell us they think it's a good sentence. They were just surprised that she got a year in jail.
Bob, do we know at what point she will actually be taken to the facility? Is it immediately, or will she have some time to actually prepare to go?
No, and you often wonder, and that varies often they'll say, okay, report back here in a month or 60 days. She was told she has like a 30 days or a year to appeal this sentence, but she's going right away. I mean, I had a chance to speak to John McCarthy, state's attorney for Montgomery County. It was one of his assistants who prosecuted this case and made the argument for 6 months in jail to the judge, Terrence McCann, here this morning. But McCarthy told me she's going right away to jail. So if she's not on her way, she may be being processed here at the courthouse, but will be on her way. We're told, handed over to the state of Maryland, but will serve her time more than likely, it appears, at the jail here in Montgomery County for a full year.
Bob, we know that this story is filled with plenty of drama, and when it comes to drama, perhaps no one loves it more than the Real Housewives of Potomac cast, if you will, along with the production crew. Do we know, for drama reasons, if she entered through the front door or did she do so through the back door?
We had both doors covered, Guy, but she apparently came in through a garage, like a basement garage with her lawyer. So she avoided the cameras going in, and we're not likely to see her going out. There may be like a jail van that'll leave here, but we won't see her. One of the arguments that her attorney, David Martella, made before the sentencing was that, had production on the latest season of Real Housewives of Potomac not been starting at about the time of her accident last March, she would have sought help sooner. That one of the reasons she didn't seek out and get help prior to her conviction in December was because of production of the show, but she avoided the cameras here today. Before the sentencing, she had told the judge that, I can use my platform, the fact that I have a camera lens, to try to advocate against drinking and driving, knowing now how bad it is from her recent re-education about it, but the judge was having none of that. And it was interesting. Some of the show watchers who were here and we spoke to afterward remarked on how the judge kind of read from a prepared statement. So yes, he listened to the arguments that Karen Huger's attorney made, that her plea for leniency, they were looking for home detention or probation, and to the state's argument, which had been spelled out in a document last week. But he kind of read from his what seemed to be prepared statement before he imposed the sentence. And one of the things he said was that, how many times does it take for someone to get caught drinking and driving before a real sentence is handed down? He blasted the guidelines that the judicial system and prosecutors were kind of limited to. And one quote that stuck out to me, he said that at the time of her accident last March 19th, she was filled to the gills with alcohol. Wow. So he wasn't buying that it was just the fact that she had mixed a couple of Stella beers with her medications. So pretty interesting goings on here at Circuit Court in Rockville today, Guy.
It's official. Karen Huger now to serve time behind bars. Bob Barnard joining us outside of the Montgomery County Courthouse. Thank you so much, Bob. Truly appreciate you. We'll check back with you later.
You bet.
On the show.
Before we talk about the divorce, I do want to ask you about Karen Huger.
Yes.
You both started. You are the original part of the original cast members of the show, and Karen was just sentenced to 1 year in jail for the 2024 DUI arrest. She had a 2-year sentence, 1 year in jail, 1 year was suspended. You've been friends, you've gone through ups and downs. You were there the very first season of this. I know you spoke briefly about it on the reunion show.
Mm-hmm.
What's your reaction?
I really do encourage everyone to keep Karen in your prayers. I really care about her. And I learned this on the train coming here today, and I cried like a baby.
I know the recent news has not been favorable, but all we can do is just continue to keep everyone in our prayers and just hope for the very best.
When you think about next season and how some of the pieces are coming together, how will the season differ without Karen's physical presence on the show?
I think that, she has been someone who's been a part of the show since day one. But I think that with this group, we have found a way to navigate with her presence and without her presence. And while I definitely wish her well, looking at the reunion, I think that we maneuvered in a positive way as a collective, as a unit. So, I wish her the best, but I think that the Potomac brand still is strong.
Ink is not here today.
No.
You recently announced that you've broken up. What happened?
So it's a lot.
You and Ink are not together.
No, we're not.
You are not together.
We're not.
Currently.
Currently.
What happened?
Ink
Tell him the truth, what you just told me when we were at commercial.
Yes, ma'am. Obviously, anytime you're in a public relationship, there are outside influences.
Yeah.
And then also too, like when you're living life and you're going through the motions,
It's one thing.
it's one thing.
Yeah.
You think you're making all the right decisions, but then to see it back, it's like I'm going about it all wrong, and I'm bothered by it. So Ink has worked really, really hard for his reputation and his career. He's 20 years in as a syndicated radio personality, and he feels as though this platform is not necessarily
beneficial.
It doesn't align with his brand. I've worked so hard for my family. Like, I've been married for 11 years. My kids are amazing. I've worked really hard for everything that we have.
Yeah.
And just to see it all kind of like crumble down, it's hard.
But if a person says they love you, then he knew what came with you. He knew your career. He knew your occupation.
Correct.
So I'm not understanding why would he leave you because of it.
And to his defense, I need to get a divorce first.
Well, girl, you was messing with him.
I know.
No, I'm just saying.
I need to get a divorce first.
Okay.
Every day is hard.
But your tagline is ink is permanent.
Yeah, well, Ink is my best friend,
Yeah.
And he is forever going to be a part of my life.
Yep.
I respect that. Now, he's my best friend, and he will forever be my best friend. And are we exclusive and are we dating? No. It has like bridged a gap between us two, which is fine.
Ink very much wanted to be on television. Like, he wanted more camera time. I do not believe they broke up. I think they're still together.
What do you predict for the future of Mia and Ink? And do you suspect they'll eventually get back together?
Mia and Ink. Okay, so I don't believe that they ever broke up. I think that they're still together. I think that it's very clear that Mia is aware of being trashed on social media as it relates to throwing Ink in front of Gordon and the whole triangle and the disaster and this disgustingness of it all. And yeah, they're still together. I think that they're still together. And I think that they just are, the world didn't like them being together and him being like this side piece.
The world?
Okay. Social media.
Okay.
So I think that they're just pretending not to be together so that she can kind of clean up her little act. Ink lives in Atlanta. Mia knows we're about to film again. Mia lives in Atlanta. She does not live in D.C., Maryland, or Virginia.
Why would you say that?
She doesn't live here.
Why would you say that?
Because you don't.
I haven't moved.
Is your plan to immediately get engaged or marry Ink, and would Ink move to DC or would you move to Atlanta?
Well, that's a loaded question. As far as DC, Maryland, North Carolina, don't forget.
Yes.
Houston is actually on the chatterbox of what we want to do next. I think, remember, I'm bicoastal.
Yes, I forgot.
And I'm syndicated, baby, okay? My man is now syndicated,
And he's not a
right?
DJ, yes.
He's not a DJ. He's a syndicated radio personality. He just picked up new markets. So hopefully he'll continue to grow and evolve in that space.
Every interview, you fly in for your interviews.
Lies. No, I've been here.
I've heard people that are on your plane as you're in the back, but people have told me.
I do fly in back and forth, yes.
No, you're in the back of the plane.
No, I live here. I have a condo here.
Mia, fine. If that's a lie you want to tell today.
It's not a lie. We are looking to build in Georgia. Because I feel like it's time. And he, obviously, I'm not going to move into his home because that's a home that he built for his daughter's mother. And it's 6 bedrooms and I want 7 plus. So.
Well, where do your kids go to school?
My kids are in private homeschool.
So private homeschool they could do from
They do
wherever.
anywhere in the world.
Atlanta,
They have gone to Atlanta, yes, but they don't go back and forth every time. Okay, so as of October,
Your
they have
question
been
was,
here
what do we
because
think
a
of
court
Ink?
order.
And I gave my opinion about what I think of Ink.
Yeah.
Now, I'll be honest with you. I feel as though you had this plan of you and Ink orchestrated for this season. It backfired on you.
Do you think that people were coming from me as kids? Because she, you know, just from watching these past few episodes and seeing how the topic got brought up about, you know, your kids are watching and you're living here in this building and your husband's here and you got your man here and the kids are in the midst of all of this. And people were weighing in on that. And for you as a mom, but you're in a great relationship, but just seeing her going through that, do you understand where she's coming from, or do you think, no, we were not attacking that, we were just saying be mindful?
At first blush, when I first heard it, I said to myself, I want to give her the benefit of a doubt, because my thought process is every mother will do everything in their power to protect their kids. However, as the season progressed and actions were taken, I have questions.
Okay.
I don't stand by the things that she does, as you guys will see it play out during this season. There are some things that I'm like, if your first priority is this, then you're not moving like that. So that's the honest to God truth. I defended her when we were all at the Hatitude party, because I was like, wait, hold up, we're all mothers here. What's going on? I want to give her a benefit of a doubt. But baby, when you start moving a certain type of way, I can't defend that. I can't.
Natalia from Queens wants to know, did you tell your kids about the divorce for the first time on camera?
So yeah, we had So what I wanted to do is I wanted to go to a family counselor with the kids.
Yes.
But it didn't end up that way. Kids and I were trying to have a conversation about our relationship and things like that. So I'm actually glad that you're here now, because maybe you can help navigate it. Yeah. Gordon, can we have a conversation about telling the kids?
I'm not doing it. I've already said several times not being on camera with.
Felt like I missed something.
No, this has nothing to do with you. This is between her and I. I told Mia that I'm not filming with you.
Okay. So I was explaining to Jeremiah that just because mommy and daddy are getting a divorce does not mean that we don't love them any less. We're always going to be a family.
When you and I and her are together with the kids, I'm going to be very cordial, have a good time. Without the kids, I'm not interested.
Gordon.
So it goes like this. Mommy and daddy sitting in a tree. K-I-S-S-I-N-G.
I can't climb trees.
First comes love, then comes marriage. Then comes the baby in the baby carriage.
Okay, so listen. Sometimes in marriage, people grow apart. In his mind, he still thinks that there is a chance. Yeah. You're right, it is a problem. It's a problem. This morning, he goes, I think we should get back together and just not be intimate. Do you think Eve would be okay with that?
Mia, no.
The only thing that is real to him is the part that he wants to believe, and that's that Mia and him could be something, and it still could be happening. You know what I mean? No, I agree.
But Mia, what if they get to the age when it's time for them to get married? How are they going to view life at that point in time? How are they going to view relationships? And if we don't help them understand what's going on and why, then maybe they'll end up repeating the same cycles I've repeated. Or you've repeated. You've been married twice now and moving on to beyond the number 2 to who knows what.
Ink is not the daddy. Because I don't want to be speaking on that or hearing that. And I'm like, who is the daddy?
So we're going to get a test. Okay. I personally don't think that Jeremiah is Ink's birth father.
You get what you get and you don't get upset.
You were saying that I was a terrible mother.
You have acted like that this season, terrible mother, and I stand by that. No woman, no mother would put their child on a platform to discuss his paternity. No mother would do that. No mother.
He wasn't even there half the time. He worked in 17 different cities.
They even told me you were
always on the
sleeping with him
road.
when you said you weren't. Jeremiah said, I saw mommy sleeping with Mr. Ink.
Would you mind telling us a little
bit about and your history.
Okay, first he doesn't want to be called. We can start there. His name is Ink.
How long were you guys in a relationship?
I met Mia. I knew Mia about what it was. Probably about three and a half years.
And then did y'all break up because the relationship got to be long distance?
Yeah, that would pretty much be it. Because for me, like I said, I wanted to further my career. And just for her, it didn't make sense for her to go backwards. So we stayed in contact. And then, you know, she ended up getting married the first time. And then she ended up getting married again.
Did you guys keep in touch while she had her first marriage?
No. We always been very respectful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we always just kept in touch, like friendship. And then, you know, when social media came around, you follow each other on social media. What we had back then, like when Twitter first came out,
Mm-hmm.
you know, maybe Twitter, what you had, Facebook. What's another one? I'm trying to think another one.
MySpace?
I don't think Mia ever had a MySpace, bro. And if she did, I hope I was in the top 8. Yeah.
So take me back to, you guys were in this relationship. Y'all moved to Charlotte together.
Yes.
Then you guys broke up.
Yes.
She got married.
Yes.
Then remarried, and she now is married still to Gordon.
Yes.
Right?
True.
Have you met Gordon?
Yes. We've actually hung out a few times.
Y'all hung out a few times while she and Gordon were married in a happy place?
No. This is post-separation. Like, since they've been separated,
Mm-hmm.
I've met him and had conversations with him, and we talked.
I had a prostate cancer. My organs weren't working like they used to. On my 70th birthday, I said, you know, if you find someone that you think you want to start spending time with, I want you to know I'm okay with it.
So you were with G then?
I was.
Yes.
Mia, can I say something about that? And I'm just telling you this full disclosure because I don't know who Gordon is talking to and what Gordon is saying. But one of the things that Gordon did say was that Ink came to your house and was trying to take Jeremiah.
How are you doing? I mean, I know that you and Gordon are going through a split, but how are you guys doing? I couldn't help but notice that you are wearing your ring now.
Yeah, so yes, we are separated, illegally separated, and it's going to take time to get a divorce, but there is someone special that's on the horizon.
There is someone special. Oh, so are you engaged?
I am committed.
Okay, so that is a commitment.
Yes, I'm not available. Yes, so don't come in my DMs.
All right.
Okay.
What's your reaction?
With this one, she never surprises me. She's amazing. She keeps my life exciting watching her life, and it's amazing.
Is that why you moved
no,
down the street, baby?
I got to get closer to her.
Yeah.
I'm trying to live vicariously.
We can walk to each other's homes.
Now, how does Gordon feel about this?
Gordon's actually, obviously at first he's not so happy because he decided to go public. But, every day gets easier. He's actually dating. So we are really focusing on being good co-parents for our children. It's like the kids are what's really important at this point. And we're good. We're going to be good. And I think that, I think it's important for people to see that we are going to be co-parents. And I think it's going to be great.
Why does Ink think Jeremiah is his son?
Because we had an affair shortly after. Yeah, there was a little overlap in there.
I love Gordon a lot, and he needs to lean on me. And he is actually leaning on Ink and I.
Oh. So you don't feel like I gave everything?
I feel like you gave a lot, but I don't think you went the last step.
What's the last step?
The last step is just separate and not run to someone else.
Ink is most definitely been a pivotal part. Gordon, when he left one weekend, he left his dirty laundry. And I washed it for him, and Ink did fold it, and we took it to his apartment.
We're trying to work it out. I'm trying to reel him in, and we need to work together as a family. Mm-hmm. We have these beautiful babies that we're raising, and being a mom is number one for me. And I'm very proud to hold that title of being super mom. And we have happy kids. I want them to stay happy.
Because like you said, you're really focusing on keeping the kids happy,
Mm-hmm.
keeping everything as normal as it can
Mm-hmm.
be. How is that navigation going between you two right now?
Yeah, so actually it's going well. It is now. And hopefully it stays that way. Okay. And I don't keep the kids away from Gordon. I do want him to be a huge part of their lives. I do want them to remain the kids' hero. That's their dad. And so when I told him, I said, hey, if you don't get with the program, then you're going to put me in a position to where, you're not going to see your kids. So pick a side. And
so he got with the program?
He got with the program. Yeah.
Okay.
That's business. Yeah, for sure.
Listen, I feel a certain way about G. And when G shared with the world that your children had seen you in bed with another man, and the fact that your babies were plastered all over the news.
I didn't plaster my babies on the gram. Like, their father did. You just sit here and pretend like it's like my fault.
No, darling, I'm not pretending. I'm asking a question because this is concerning to me as well.
And you're sitting here trying to pretend like it's my fault that he did that? No.
But Mia, you didn't protect your kids at all costs. You did. Because if you did, you would not have mixed ink with Gordon.
Why does Ink think Jeremiah is his son?
Because we had an affair shortly
overlapping.
after. Yeah, there was a little overlapping there.
You know how good of a mother you are. I know. You know that. So let anybody tell you different.
Y'all, there's so much going on with Gordon right now. He's in mania. Gordon, can we have a conversation about telling the kids?
I'm not doing it. I've already said several times not being on camera with.
Felt like I missed something.
No, this has nothing to do with you. This is between her and I. I told Mia that I'm not filming with you.
Gordon and Ink kind of got into it. And Gordon, I don't want to cry about it.
When you and I and her are together with the kids, I'm going to be very cordial, have a good time. Without the kids, I'm not interested.
Gordon.
Whether
So
the
why
camera is here,
why are you pushing to be on?
I'm not pushing to do anything. What I'm doing is supporting my lady.
But he was like, you're an adulterer. She had an abortion by you.
When I look at him, I see a person that had adultery with my wife. I also see a person who's trying to separate my family.
No,
that's what I see when I look at him. That's not what she said.
Time out.
That's not what she said.
You guys are already in an inspired situation.
How about when you had an affair with my wife shortly after we got married? She got pregnant and had an abortion because of you.
But Gordon, okay.
Well, no. Is that a fact?
This is my first time hearing that.
And we appreciate how open you
love
are,
y'all.
baby.
Yeah.
I know it's not easy, you know? But
You doing okay? Yes, I'm good. Thank you, baby.
If I could talk to Mia for a second.
Yes.
Because at GNA, you shared a lot of
sensitive
personal,
things.
sensitive things with us.
But he was like, you're an adulterer. She had an abortion by you. Before GNA,
Okay.
Gordon and Ink went on a rampage against each other.
What changed in the
In those
24
hours.
So,
But you think Jeremiah's your kid?
you guys,
Yeah, I told you that. Yeah.
listen, Gordon.
No. Did you have two
and I
affairs
have
with my
already-
wife at least?
But listen,
Stop.
why?
Did you have two affairs with my wife at least?
Understand the circumstances, Gordon, and you and I
Circumstances
talked
doesn't
about
matter.
it.
It
No,
either
it
is or
does
isn't.
matter, Gordon,
Okay.
because you were going through something. I had no idea what you were going through.
Was there adultery committed?
I was willing
Was there
to
adultery
try
committed?
to make it work and
They're not
stand
answering
by
the
your
question.
Why do you make it like he's in a good space if he's not? I think that's fair.
What Jacqueline is basically saying is she's saying that, for lack of a better word, you're putting up a facade.
I'm like, bro, be mindful. Them kids in the room. Like, we don't want them to hear that profanity. Ain't nobody
And that's
even
the
using
issue that I
profanity.
have because I have sheltered the kids because I don't want children to be privy to us figuring it out. The kids don't even know that you and I are like an item.
I think basically right now, Mia was really trying to be the glue that holds us together, make it work for the kids, make it work for me, and still have your own piece of
That's
happiness.
understandable.
But that's really a little bit irresponsible. You know that that's not feasible.
Oh my God.
Mia. I'm gonna take care of it, okay? We're gonna handle it, okay?
I'm very like, why is he doing this? I don't understand it. Like, why? Like, I don't understand it. Not to answer. Like, you don't answer.
You know, I think you're a big girl and you can handle yourself. But at this point, as your friend, my concern is your children.
Okay,
You
so we're
know?
good. Okay. Let's just like relax now. They're good.
Yeah, I feel like I just need like a shot of tequila.
Yeah, let's have a shot. So Wendy got us some rum. Let's take a shot. Let's decompress. Yeah. It's amazing with the kids.
You do have full custody, right?
Yes, I have full custody.
So I've been in the same situation, and I showed up with the cops.
Okay.
I had them meet me where my child was, and it sent a clear message.
Okay, so they're there right now, and they've been there all day. Okay. We couldn't get in contact with Gordon. He wasn't answering his phone. We called and she didn't answer, so Mia's just kind of freaking out, having a panic attack, not knowing where they are.
I'm really tired of being under a microscope for what I do on my social media, and my life is really kind of wild and crazy.
Are you happy in your relationship still?
Yes. You know, it's challenging, right? Because things are playing out on television and emotions get involved, and as in any relationship, there's ups and downs. But, you know, I am very happy and fortunate that Ink is in the chat and he is here. And I just, you know, hopefully as the season progresses, we can see more of what that looks like, and you can see how amazing he is.
Yeah.
He's really quite a great guy.
Sure.
And so I'm happy to see it.
Yeah.
And he is my best friend.
No, I mean, you could tell. Like, you could tell that the two of you have a really fun, playful, loving relationship, and that it goes back a lot of years.
Yes.
And he's been in your life for a while, and I'm sure that it's probably difficult for him at times being in this family dynamic. What does that look like now? What does co-parenting with Gordon look like? What does the family dynamic look like?
You know, we are actually doing a really good job.
Okay, good.
And, you know, the kids are happy, and Gordon is still very much so in my building.
Okay.
And
still coming over for coffee?
Yes. Still, you know, I'm like, okay. And I'm okay with it. Like, as long as there's no negativity around it. I don't like negative things. Like, I'm a peace girl, contrary to probably.
Sure.
I really do like peace.
Yeah.
And as long as you're coming with good energy, then you are always welcome in my corner suite. Okay.
Right.
But the moment that it's anything different and you try to control what's going on in my corner suite, you have got to 86 get out.
Yeah, right. Has he been trying to do that at all, or has he kind of respected your boundaries?
No, he's been respecting my boundaries.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but that's also
good.
because he's dating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
yes.
so I think that, you know, he's now distracted and he has his attention on someone else, which is great.
That's great.
I'm like, pass the torch, honey, clock in. It's time for you to clock in, okay?
Yes.
And it works out well. The kids love her.
Oh, good. Do you like her?
I do.
Okay.
I think that she's a good addition to our family.
Nice.
She's a good team member.
Okay, good.
And so hopefully she'll stick around for
All right, that's great. And what is Gordon's relationship like with Ink now? Are they...
So they haven't seen each other.
Oh,
like,
okay.
I purposely have, like, when Ink is in town, I'm just like, you know what?
So doing the Airbnbs?
No.
Yeah, okay.
No.
Okay.
I actually just revoked his access to my floor.
Oh, okay.
So Gordon can't come to my floor.
Got it. All right.
And that's been a really great boundary because now I take, like, the back service elevator, so I never run into him.
Got it. Okay.
And we don't see him.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
And then Ink comes a lot of times when, like, Gordon's out of town. You know, we're doing a better job of just kind of being mindful of his feelings.
Okay. And
I don't know how long I'm going to be doing that.
Right.
But for now, that's what's working.
Right. Do you see yourself moving out of that building eventually, or do you think that you'll stay because of the kids?
To move out because I don't want to move anymore.
Sure. Yeah. You're like, I'm settled.
I want to stay here.
Yeah.
I want to bring a designer in.
Okay.
I want to do things.
Yes.
Just leave me. You know, let me be in peace for a little bit. Let the kids be settled for a while. There's a building across the street that's really nice.
Okay.
It has great amenities. Gordon should probably transfer over there.
You're like always sending him the listings.
Indoor pool, indoor
nice.
bowling alley.
Right. We can wave from
indoor
across the
basketball
building.
court. Like, I can come and take advantage of. Like, I can come over there. There now. You know. So I just think that it would be better.
Yeah.
It'll be a little bit more separation,
Yeah.
but I do like that Gordon is near for the kids' sake.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. I know at the finale last season was explosive. The reunion, everything. Are you still giving money to Gordon? Like, when it comes to finances and things like that?
We have sold our business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, good.
And he has taken his equity and I have taken mine.
Okay.
And it is working out really great.
That's great.
Yes.
So pretty much the only ties that you have now are your kids.
The only ties now that we have are our children.
Okay.
Yes.
It's working out fantastic.
It's working out fantastic.
I'm like, yes, finally.
Yeah.
So I do have to help him sometimes because he doesn't have like access to logins and passwords. But I'm like, here, do it. It's yours. Like, have at it. Like, you know, and I think that that also too has helped Gordon because, you know, men are very, you know, they want to feel like they're in control of something. And I'm like, you know, just because our marriage isn't working out and I tried time and time after again, I do want you to be successful. I do want you to go on and do the things. I want you to find happiness. I want you to allow me to do the same.
Yeah,
okay?
right? Yeah.
And we can live fruitful lives and continue to be good parents for our children. And, you know, and that's where we are right now and it feels great.
That's good.
That's that's it. The truth hurts, I guess. I mean,
Not my kids.
It is what it is.
I just don't get it. I don't do people doing and not being able to be accountable for their
Thank you, Wendy. After all the she did, now you can get up and walk away?
Okay, so obviously, you know, we announced that we were going to go live, and originally Gordon wanted to come in here, and he just wanted to have the opportunity to share with you all and touch base on a lot of things that are just confusing. And we get it. We don't want y'all confused. We love y'all. And, you know, it's really important for everybody that everybody has the opportunity to share how they feel about things. And, you know, it doesn't always have to be like a negative thing, right?
Right.
Yeah? Okay. So you want to say hi to everybody? And we're going to keep it like real. There's no agenda, y'all. No agenda whatsoever. I have questions that you guys have all messaged me. We obviously can't get to all of them, but we will address like the most common ones that a lot of you asked. And so I think that that's important as well.
Is this when I say hi?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone. This is a historic moment. This is my first time doing this. I have no idea what I'm doing. But what I promise you is that I'm going to be transparent. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be engaged, and I'll give you the best I got.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, do you want to, like, is there anything that you want to address? I know that you did want to come to the reunion. And
correct.
Yeah.
Truth.
And I honestly probably was the main reason why you didn't come. Like I was moving into a space of really trying to protect our household and our family, and I just didn't feel like, I felt like I could handle it on my own, right? But
typical of you.
But I think
it's true.
I think it's important to know that you actually did want to come. You had a lot of things that you wanted to share. There are a lot of things that you felt were not necessarily portrayed to the best of who we are as an individuals. So do you want to say anything before?
I guess I do now since you put me on the spot, sure. Well, you know, I think all of you understand that on a platform like this, there's a lot of material generated. And then there's editing that takes place. And I want you to be clear, I have no issues with editing. You know, they're doing what they need to do to condense things down to a 42 to 45 minute show. Get it, understand, no issues. But there's also some backstories that go along that maybe do not get portrayed in that editing. And I get that as well. So I wanted to come to the reunion to give an opportunity to add to some of that backstory. And since that didn't happen, I thought this would be a good opportunity to do something. And truth be told, I had spoken to Mia a month or two ago, maybe a month or so ago, that we should probably do something like this, just to have a conversation with and in front of you all to dwell more into some truths and dispel some misunderstandings and some myths. So here we are. So, want to fire away?
Yeah. So I think that, do you want to talk about, I don't know, like, how do you feel? I feel like when I'm watching back, I feel like it's being portrayed that maybe we're not, it's at question as to whether or not I'm
a good mother or a good business person or a good friend. And quite frankly, these are all the things that I feel like in our world, I'm always praised about. So to watch it on a national platform of the top 3 things that I hold dear to my heart at high level of integrity, to just see that kind of being misconstrued, I know that it's like, how did I get there? So I don't know, like, is there anything that you want to say to attest to any of that? And I want you to keep it honest, like, keep it real.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't know who's out there, but some of you who know me, I only know honesty. I am a lousy liar. I learned that from a very young age. Even my mother said, boy, you're a lousy liar. I can't have that poker face, so anything I say is the truth as I see it. Obviously, there's always room for varying opinions, and most of you know that 2 or 3 people can look at the very same situation and come away with 2 or 3 different perspectives. So what I'm going to tell you is the truth from my perspective. And you mentioned a lot, but let me see if I can recap them. Let me start with the most important part first. And that's the kids. There is no doubt that you are a great mother. Now, when I talked about that, I was in a state of being angry, feeling disenfranchised, feeling like my kids were being taken from me, feeling like my world was being ripped apart, feeling like I was being cast aside.
Yeah.
So there was some anger, there was some emotion involved in that. And also at the time, Mia is a hard worker. She had a lot going on. We were in film season. Not only is that extremely demanding and ever-changing from a scheduling standpoint, but she was also doing speaking engagements. She was doing collabs with, what's the word I'm looking for? The companies.
Yeah, just don't name them.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. She had a lot going on. So I used that to say she wasn't spending a lot of time with the kids. But in reality, she wasn't. But it wasn't because she didn't love her kids or they didn't love her. It was because she was working. She was doing a lot of things, and quite frankly, I don't quite understand how she gets. You know what? I do understand how she gets done what she does. When we were living together, her style was get everyone in bed, get everyone situated for the night, and then she would be on her computer working from about 10 p.m. until literally 3 or 4, and sometimes until the sun came up. So that's how she would get it done during those quiet moments. So as a mother, look, I couldn't ask for a better mother for my kids. The kids are well adjusted. They are great kids. If every parent says their kids are great kids, but we really mean it. Our kids are absolutely phenomenal. And one of the things that I often think about is each of our individual strengths. And we are kind of opposite, but at the same time, you put the two together, we make a phenomenal person, so to speak. And in one of my moments of clarity, I began to understand if we could create an environment where the kids could get the best of both of us, watch out the rest of the world, they would be absolutely awesome. And that's one of the things that drives, I'll just jump to it, that really drives, from my perspective, how I personally am working for our relationship to evolve to in the future. And Mia's already been there. It took me a moment to catch up. And so I filed for divorce back in November. I think it was early November, mid-November or so, just before her birthday. I'm a nice guy, just before her birthday. You're welcome.
Yeah,
you're welcome. And then we had a temporary custody order, which I felt really comfortable with. And one of my anxious moments was, with all of this being an open canvas, could Mia leave and take the kids from me? Could she do things that I don't support or agree with? Could she do things without getting my input? But once the emergency custody order came through, and it cleared and put guardrails on both of us in terms of our behaviors with the kids, it was like someone letting the air out of a balloon. all of a sudden my emotional level went all the way down. And I was then able to have clarity on the situation. And one of the things I did, and Mia's never heard this, I sat down on more than 5 occasions and created 2 lists. A list for getting divorced, a list against getting divorced. And every time I did that, the top 2 things that were consistently on their list as must-have is 1, what's in the best interest of the kids. Yeah. And number 2 was legacy. Yeah. And then as I started thinking about those things, and now remember my emotional level is down and my cerebral level, if that's a word, is elevated. And I started thinking through this. I'm a scientist, by the way, a math major, so I think in terms of logic and linear thinking, etc. I started thinking, okay, if that is the case, G, what are you going to do? What you going to do? And I made the conscious decision that said, no matter what goes on, number 1 is the kids. So I, in effect, February 3rd or 4th, I think was the date, I stopped the divorce proceedings on my own. Mia didn't ask me to. I stopped them because I started thinking, okay, if we're going to reach a point of what's important for the kids, then what's really important is for she and I to have a good relationship. Number 1. Number 2, for us to be in a position to show and give the kids the best of what we want to have to offer. And number 3, show them a loving, compassionate, calm, so to speak, household and relationship between their mom and dad. And when I started thinking about all those things, I'm going, okay, I want to pause this legal situation to allow the temperature to drop down for both of us. Could we have gone through this? This is my thinking. Mia can weigh in whatever she wants to say. But could we have gone through the divorce without this thinking? Absolutely. But would it have generated the exact result that's best for the kids? In my thinking, absolutely not. So if we could take this down to a point where we're thinking about what's best for the kids, give this thing time for she and I to develop and find a leveling of our relationship that supports kids, our kids, having the best environment possible and legacy. And I didn't want divorce proceedings to interfere with that. Now you may ask, does that mean we're getting back together and getting divorced? No, the answer is we are getting a divorce. In fact, she and I talked about it the other day, and I told her, look, you should file whenever you're ready. I have in my mind what I'm trying to achieve before filing, so I could refile. That's really not an issue. We've actually already agreed on the big things. Mm-hmm. And I told her, you can file whatever you want. I love Mia. She's a great person. There are reasons why I love her. And there's reasons why I will always love her. She's given me 2 great and beautiful kids. Yeah. And, my intention, desire, wishes, and wants right now is not to get back together. And I think she feels the same way. So we have to set all that aside and say, okay, if that indeed is a fact, how do we exist in a way that works? Having dinners together, seeing the going out to the park together with the kids, going to ice skating together, going on vacation together. Some people may think that's crazy, but we are now able to do that.
I don't think it's crazy. I think that
I said some people do. I didn't say you do.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like I feel like when it comes to parenting and different parenting styles, we live in a world where there's no right or wrong to this. We're all doing the best that we know how. One size doesn't fit all. And what works for us works for us. And it works for us for my children to be able to see, just to be poured love into. You know, I touched on, my ex-husband and you, which is my ex-husband is my oldest child's father. You guys have such a great relationship. You guys, have always gotten along. You guys have
not always, but we got there.
Well, when did you guys not get along, Gordon?
Early in the beginning.
Before he met you. But once he met you, you guys have been great since. He just didn't know you.
Well, yeah, that's true.
You guys had to have a sit down.
Absolutely true.
Yeah.
Absolutely true.
You guys got together, you sat down, and after that sit down, you guys have always gotten along.
Well, and one of the things I did was let him know for sure, look, you're Joshua's father.
Yeah, 1,000%.
I am in his life to be a role model and support you and him.
Yeah.
So whatever you need me to do, let me know.
Yeah.
And after that,
you guys,
we've been good.
And so when it comes to holidays and birthdays and everything else, like Joshua has grown up and he's soon to be 17 years old. And he's such a phenomenal child because all he knows is love. No one's ever showed him anything else.
And
so
Joshua calls me from time to time just to say hi, how you doing, Daddy G?
He's crazy about his dad G. So, and I think
and he's crazy about his dad too, and his mom.
Yes. But, and I think that that's a really beautiful thing, and I think that we need more of that in today's society. And I feel like being able to go on vacations and, being able to co-parent, if everybody has that emotional intelligence and that emotional maturity to be able to do that, it really does work out better for the kids. I will never disagree with that.
Truth.
I think a lot of times it's us that we have to put aside our own discomfort. It's uncomfortable. I mean, I remember inviting your ex-wives to our homes.
God, was I pissed.
He hated it. I was always inviting the ex-wives, and I will never forget to this day, and I don't really like to speak on them so much because they're just all so phenomenal, and I don't want them to get like torn, folded into the mix, but I'll never forget like when your mom passed away, and Jeremiah was maybe 8 months old.
9 months, yeah.
And he got a little antsy after service. And I'll never forget your ex-wife said, come give me that baby. Let me take the baby out of the congregation so you can be there for your husband. And I thought that was the most powerful, profound time of like, okay, we're doing something right here, And you had the most wives at that funeral.
Oh, hush. Okay, I won the contest.
All four.
I won. I finally won something.
I was like, I can't.
You just had to bring that up.
I'm just saying, since we're talking about it, but
the next one too.
Boy, y'all pray for me. So,
just saying.
I just think that I think it's really important to understand the mindset of who I am as a mother and how I feel like the more love, the merrier. I also think that it's really important to just discuss like. You are so entitled to how you feel. Like, I really I'm happy that you are here and I'm happy that you wanted to do this because I think emotions and being able to express yourself is healing.
It takes a moment, too, to get there.
And the number one comment that I get from people, like, out and about is, how's Gordon doing? Like, how's his health? How's he feeling? And I also want to go back to, this has been something you've been battling with since 2 years into our marriage, you guys. We had been married for 2 years, and the family finally shared with me what was going on.
That was crazy as you know what.
I just didn't know what was happening. And I remember saying, well, why didn't you guys tell me sooner? I can navigate this. It's all good. Like, I got you.
They needed someone else for me to mess with other than them. That's why they didn't tell you. Took the heat off of them.
Yeah. So I think it's really important too. I think another misconception that a lot of people think is that, like, I married you for money. That the only reason why I'm with you is for your money. And I think it's important to say that if that was the case, I would have left you right after we got married because you had gone through a really hard financial hardship. But I decided to soldier up and leverage all of our resources and our assets. And I worked my ass off, excuse my language, day in and day out. We sold assets, we built assets, we leveraged contacts, we found investors, we built a brand, and that's why it's so hard to be able to see anyone ever question like my integrity as a woman. And obviously, like, it's never mainstream for me to ever say, oh, my husband's broke, right? But I think it's important to like navigate into it. Like, how do you feel? Do you feel like? Tell me, like, speak on that.
Okay, so there's two things that I'd like to say. One is a question that I didn't answer of the three you asked. Now, I could write a book about each of those three questions, and we don't have. How much time do we have?
It's your world.
We can go like to midnight?
No, I gotta go to bed.
Okay, 11:30.
No.
All right.
Got like
well,
30 minutes.
allow me to get to at least two of them.
Okay, go
One
ahead.
that you just mentioned, and then the other one that you mentioned early on.
Go ahead.
Because I think number one, that there are two different there was one misconception, one reality, and I think they need to be talked about. So let me talk first about why I first admired you and then eventually fell in love with you. When we first met, and you know my routine, I sit and I like listen to people's story, right?
Yeah.
I want to hear what's going on in your life, yada, yada, yada. I'll tell you all this kind of offline, and I won't get into it any more deeply. One of the personal goals I had was to help make 20 millionaires in my lifetime. Okay? Not give them $1 million, but help them, give them the knowledge, teach them how to fish to get to the point of being a millionaire. And I like taking on, I'm using the word projects, but not that. It's people that I want to help that seems interested enough to listen to what I got to say. But one of the things...
you actually said that to me in the beginning, and I actually was like, oh, okay.
I did?
You did.
Okay.
Yeah, you told me that you were taking me on as a project.
I used that word project? Okay, well, she was a project. I didn't know I said that, but okay.
You did.
So there's a few things that
But, honestly, I saw it as, well, teach me what you know, because I know what I know. I want to know what you know.
Right.
And you obviously have, a couple more years, just a few, on me.
Y'all know she don't count too good.
and you have obviously been in circles and been in rooms and accomplished a lot, and had done enough in your life where I was like, I kind of want to know how you did it, and I want to know the
Wait a minute.
the tools.
So it wasn't my good looks and my hair?
Boy, you had no hair, honey. Put this back on. Okay.
God, does that hurt?
That came later. Go ahead.
Okay. So let me just tell you this, because this is a side of Nia that I don't think you'll ever see, but I'm telling you, this is factual. When I first met Nia, you were 18, maybe 19? And as we talked, I started to understand her as a person. This was a time in her life where her mother was going through some tough things and really couldn't spend the kind of time she wanted with her kids. Mia also had two younger brothers and sisters, twins, who I believe was maybe 9 or 10 at the time. She had an older brother who himself is a great guy, but he was having some tough times, as many of us do from time to time. And she was also going to school full time. And it impressed me that Mia stepped up to be the person to help support her family emotionally, spiritually, and financially. She worked 2 jobs. It was 2 jobs at the time, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, she worked 2 jobs at the time. She would drive from Charlotte to Maryland, pick up her 2 younger siblings, the twins, the same day drive back to Charlotte, have them spend time with her, buy them clothes, take them to amusement parks, just make sure they had a good time, buy them their school supplies, etc. She would send money to her mother. Actually, you gave your mother a debit.
Crying?
No.
Why are you looking?
Well, it's emotion. It's good stuff. You gave your mother
a good daughter would do.
Okay, but it impressed me that you were so diligent and responsible at 18 or 19 years old.
Okay, go ahead.
That impressed me. The other thing is the fact that she was going to school and working 2 jobs, one of them until 2 or 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and she didn't have a reliable vehicle. So you folks probably already know this. I co-signed for her to get a reliable vehicle, but she made the payments.
I made the payments.
Oh, she made once or twice. She was late once or twice. I had to call her up, the girl.
But I was paying my own car note for the record.
She paid the car note.
Okay, you did not purchase my car. You just co-signed.
And hard work, persistence, and loyalty to a cause touches my heart. That was the first thing that got me interested in her. And then we didn't see each other for, I don't know, 2, 3, or 4 years or something like that. And then the next time I saw her, she was a full-grown lady.
I had blossomed.
She had blossomed. And I saw him going, But, really not that. But then, which, I don't know, for some reason, I told her in the past that it was really kind of one of those magical moments where all of a sudden, out of the blue, you see someone that you haven't seen for a while and you feel something. And that's when we kind of reconnected. And then beyond that, all the other qualities that she showed me, compassion for people, her spirit, her desire to help other people be successful. And then she has some qualities that led into her being a great business partner and a great business person. And let me sum it up by saying, even though we're getting a divorce, I wouldn't hesitate for one moment going into business with Mia. That's how much I believe in her skill set, how much I believe in her ability to lead a team and help grow a company. And our strengths really kind of balance each other out.
Yeah.
She is very much culture driven. She understands the soft sides of the business and people. And she's a great leader because people want to follow her. I ain't never seen anything like it. Even the lowest level employees, they would listen to her more than me, which was okay because she helped make us a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then she was brilliant at marketing. In fact, she got the Worldwide Marketing Award for the franchise that we were a part of, which was actually, I could even say, was understated in terms of her contributions to our company, because not only was she great at marketing, she was also great at culture, as I've also mentioned. She was great at understanding where the business was and where it needed to go. But she was also extremely great at understanding people. And there's a couple of times where she said a couple of things to me that I wish I had listened to, like, this person is not meant to be on this team. I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. She was right. She was absolutely right.
I've saved a lot of people's jobs.
And she did that. She saved the job of who turned out to be one of our top 3 executives in the company.
Yeah.
She saved, I walked in.
Fired.
Oh, he was fired. Oh, he was gone. He was fired. And Neil said, no, you need to rethink this.
Mm-hmm.
This guy has this, and this. And I'm going, okay, if you believe in him, I'll roll with you on this one. She was right.
Yeah.
Absolutely right.
So do you want to touch on like how you're feeling? So a lot of times, like and a lot of the questions that I have, people are asking like, how's your health? How are you feeling? You came out last year. You shared your diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very proud of you for doing that, actually. I was against it, but I also am in a position where I'm trying not to like tell you what to do.
Finally. There's a God
you are no
somewhere.
longer my responsibility. This is why we're getting a divorce, okay? Good luck, next girl. No, I'm just kidding. But, and I'm proud of you. But, how are you feeling? What do you feel like is next for Gordon? Do you feel like you have inspired individuals? Do you feel like you need to do more? Like how are you feeling about that? And how also, too, like, do you feel like your health has anything negatively to contribute to my platform?
Which one of your platforms?
The one that everybody knows. Our health, obviously.
So, how's my health? Physically, I couldn't feel better. As I said before, I'm 84. I don't have an ache in my body. Got some guns.
Yeah,
I work out 3 or 4 days a week. I have a personal trainer. He thinks I'm 55, so he keeps giving me extra weight and extra running time. And I'm telling him, look, man, don't be doing that. I'm 84. So actually, I'm 72. But since Mia can't count, in any event, physically, I'm doing well. I came out on the reunion last year. No, 2 years ago. What was it, last year? Because there's a reunion going on right now, right? So not this one, the one prior.
Yeah.
I get TV time and real time a little mixed up. Hence my illness. But in any event, bipolar is without a doubt the toughest thing I've ever gone through in my life. On a number of different levels. The first level is you don't know you have it. And then once you start thinking maybe you have it, then you get to the point of really owning it. And it takes a moment to really own it, because you can say, okay, I got it. You know, a little medication here and there and no big deal. And then you get to the level of, okay, not only owning it, but then ready to go inside and say, okay, let me really understand this and why certain things happen and why they repeat themselves. And what you have to do about it. And for me, the last 3 years, I guess, has been a really tough journey, because that's when I started to recognize and not only see the effect in my business life, some of my personal relationships, but also in my marriage. And it took a while for me to understand not only what was happening, but how it was happening. And let me jump ahead, because I could talk about this all day. Hell, I could talk about it all week, because there's so many levels to this thing. What I had to come to grips with were what were the things that were triggers that would cause me to go off the rails. And that's a hard thing, to look at yourself and understand and be honest with yourself to say, what are the things that are causing? What are the behaviors that lead up to mania, and then also accelerating the mania? And it took me a while, and quite frankly, folks, I would tell you, I am still learning different triggers at least once or twice a month. Early on, I knew the top 2 or 3. And then when I could feel myself heading to mania because of one of those top 2 or 3, then I had to learn how to self-govern and self-correct. So as I sit here today, I would say that I am extremely proud of myself as to how I've managed through this and continue to manage through this. It's important for you all, thank you, it's important for you all to know that this thing never goes away. There's no cure. There's only managing it. And then there are a lot of lonely moments. Sometimes the things you do to self-correct, nobody else noticed because you corrected it before they would notice. So sometimes you have to take a step back and say, boy, I actually did good. I'm proud of myself. And then the other part that's really kind of interesting and hard is to forgive yourself.
Yeah.
To say, you know what? The past is the past. And in order for you to move forward, you got to put the past behind you. You got to put it behind you. And if you're focusing on the past, it makes it more difficult to focus on the present and the future. One of my brothers who is, I love all my brothers and sisters, but one who is a great pastor said to me, you can't unscramble an egg. And I thought about that. I'm going, you know what? He's right. What's done is done. What you control is how you manage the future. And that's what I've chosen to focus on. And I try and separate myself from people who keep dragging me back to the past. Well, you used to, you did this, you did that. I can't go back. I have to keep looking forward. And, I think that's been my greatest victory, to understand that. And the second greatest victory is understanding the triggers, accepting them, and then being able to govern myself accordingly after that. Have I gone over my time?
It's okay. I know you need to get out. So I will segue into one of the questions here. I was reading all the many questions. There's so many, y'all. Like, I love y'all. It says the narrative where Mia appears to look like the liar to her peers and viewers of the show. Can you address that?
Well, Mia is not a liar. Does she exaggerate, embellish? Yeah, but hell, we all do that. I do it. I hope you recognize that you all do it, but we all do that. And we also see truth from our perspective. One thing I fully know is that you can get a half dozen people looking at the same situation, and you're going to get 6 versions of it. So what one person may think is the truth, like the telephone game, what one person sees it as the truth, another person may see that same thing as a lie. Mm-hmm. So you have to be careful with truth and reality. The reality is Mia's a great person. She strives to do well by people. She strives to raise everyone's, what's the word I'm looking for? Station, so to speak.
Add value.
Add value. And as I said before, people follow her. Now, if she was truly a liar, people wouldn't follow her because they wouldn't believe in what she's doing. But people follow her, so she's not a liar. Does she exaggerate? Yeah. Is she forgetful sometimes? Yes, all of us are. You know, I forgot. Yeah. I didn't want to say it that way, but you see, well, I'm not going to say it, but I wasn't going to talk about her hair color.
I mean, there's so much. You know how it's like the iPhone when you have too much storage, it starts deleting stuff. Yeah, that's just pretty much how it be going for me. And maybe, you know, I'm praying a lot and really trying to ask God, like, I don't have to do it all, right? So what areas of life do I really need to be focusing my attention into so I can be really intentional and I can really go up 100%? Because, you know, when you start diluting yourself and you're trying to carry 20 different hats, you're not going to be as productive as if you're focusing on that one thing. Do you know what I mean? And I think that in hindsight, especially like this season, I'm like, Mia, you were juggling a lot, you know? And a lot of the things
Of course, I was not one of those things.
You were one of those things. You were one of those things.
Maybe 5 of them.
You said it, not me.
I'm from the house of truth.
And I think that, you know, that's a message all in itself, because I feel like a lot of times we as women feel like we need to be super women and we need to not say no. Ladies, 2025, we are learning how to say no. I am finally in a position where I'm like, you know what? This no longer serves me. I'm like, I just can't do it. I can't do it all. Thank you, God, for the blessing, but I have to like really be intentional on my purpose and my passion and my future and what's best for like the long game, not short term gratification. Like where are we moving in a long term rim? And is this for my better good? You know, and that's really like where I finally arrived in that space, and it feels good to be there, because I'm gonna tell you, like, the dilution is not working. It's not working at all. So thank you for addressing that. So there's another question I know I wanted to get to a couple of them. So it says, so you've already addressed your bipolar. A lot of people wanted to know if you really have bipolar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got it. Own it. Got it.
That's not funny.
I'm good at it, too. Real good at it.
And, you know, I really do think that you should start, like, discussing and being there for other individuals who may have diagnosed bipolar, and then how, like, share, like, your tools.
I mean, if there's an interest in it, I have no problems doing it to help other people understand the journey. To understand the journey, absolutely.
Yeah. We talked about the children, obviously, you know, thank you for validating that, but I know I'm a good mama. I know I'm like, that's something that I take.
No argument here.
Right, okay? And we talk,
That's a lot of questions. We need a part 3, 4, 7.
No, we
10.
don't. No, we don't. This is a lot. You taking up this is my working hours, okay? I'm supposed to be, you know, doing the things. And that's another thing, you know, guys, I do wish that I can get to a position where I can really show y'all the investor side of me and how I collab with some really phenomenal female founders and really leveraging our platform to raise awareness around causes that I'm involved in, and, you know, just being more passion driven. I think that it's really important, not only for me, but, you know, for our neighbors and for the children and for,
So let me capsulize what she just said by saying that a couple of her acquaintances summed it up this way: Mia, whatever you're investing in, we're in. And there's no greater testament than that people want to follow you. They want to be a part of what you're doing. And people don't sign up with losers. They don't sign up with losers. Okay? Think about that.
Oh, well, no, because I make
well, they don't sign up with losers. Exactly. Right.
I made you a lot of money, huh? No?
Sure.
No?
You gonna do it again?
You want me to do it again?
Yeah.
You're
the past don't count. Remember, I'm
work.
focused on the present and the future, not the past.
You're a piece of work.
Feel about the nicknames, the pool boy and Jack Harlow?
Josh was actually really offended by some of the things that Wendy had said about him.
He's offended by being called Jack Harlow?
No, when you said that dating him was a lateral move from Michael.
What is your response to Ashley saying you can suck it and watch what happens later? Jack Harlow and Josh.
Oh, regarding your comments about Jack Harlow and Josh.
You know, can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I think that speaks to how deplorable and just lack of thought process Ashley has towards the whole situation.
Ashley, what did you think of Wendy calling Josh Jack Harlow and saying that you can do better than him?
Josh survived cancer when he was 27 years old, okay? And he is now 30 years old. He's very accomplished. Wendy has no idea what he does for a living. And the man stared death in the face, okay? With thyroid cancer. So if anything, I think he's a very impressive young man.
He even tried to invoke the cancer of it all to seek sympathy, and that's not what we were doing. It was just light shade. It didn't warrant all of that. And so, you know, I wish Ashley well, but I never thought it was wrong for you to say to your friend, oh, I think you could do better. I think that's actually a compliment. So for her to now take it to this level, it's odd.
What's your response to how Wendy spoke about that on Watch What Happens Live last week?
It was a little surprising to me that Wendy said those comments in the first place that she said in her confessional, because that's not the energy that Wendy was saying to me to my face. For someone who I consider to be my friend, I would really think if you really thought like, oh, this guy really isn't of the caliber or whatever, then maybe you'd say that. But to say that for the confessional chair, it really showed me that Wendy is two-faced. And so I didn't appreciate that at all. Like, if you really felt that, you'd stand 10 toes on that and be like, girl, you know, if you want to say this is a lateral move or whatever she said, then, you know, just be a woman and say it to me. So I was just really, it pissed me off. I actually didn't even watch her Watch What Happens Live episode. I didn't really care to see it. Of course, I heard that she talked about me, called Josh a rented boyfriend. There are some other conversations that Wendy and I have had where she brings up things that her husband has been involved in to try to like justify her talking about Josh. They're apples and oranges, things that she really has no justification to say. And also the fact that she doesn't even know Josh. She doesn't know his story, who he is, what he represents. And he's new to this platform. He doesn't know any of this. And you just go in on him like that's low-hanging fruit. And that's really stupid of you.
He'll be okay.
You have no remorse. He's a very good guy. And all his friends have been texting him like, oh, I can't believe she said that about you.
Do you know how many things you have said about my husband?
What did I say about your husband?
Just because,
what did I say about your husband?
What is she said about it?
Let's start with when Ashley woefully brought a rumor that she knew was a lie about my husband.
You mean the blog that someone else wrote that, again, I didn't write?
Wendy says that Giselle should have been the one to bring up the Eddie rumors to her and not you, Ashley.
Like with Giselle, the same way she wanted to have the conversation with me at dinner, if you really were hearing these things, why didn't she do this?
Do you look back on this now and think maybe Giselle should have had the discussion with her?
No, ultimately, the conversation was had between Giselle and I at the same time. I was a part of that conversation as well. So I also have a responsibility, I feel, to have a discussion with Wendy. I don't know why it would only have to be coming from Giselle when, again, both of us were a part of that.
Giselle and Wendy had a friendship. They had a rapport. They were close. Wendy referred to Giselle as her big sister. So, yeah, I expect Giselle to be concerned. But please, pray tell, help me to understand, what does forehead have to do with any of this? What does Ashley bring to this situation? Like, why are you emoting Giselle to Ashley, of all people, if you are concerned?
I was mad at Ashley, too. So don't sit here and woe is me. You spoke about the father, my children, my husband.
Okay.
Sit there and sit with it.
Take it up with the blogger.
Sit with it.
Take it up
You
with the
brought
blogger.
it.
So if you're really concerned about your friend, then go to her friends. Hi, hello, me. Okay, like, and I didn't even know this was happening, but you wait and talk about it with the #1 mess maker in the group.
So she went to Ashley, and she went to Ashley twice. Like, you went to the same person twice because you knew she would carry that.
Yes.
She knew what she was doing. She
You
went
was
to the
carrying
same
a baby
person
and some
twice.
mess.
She didn't go to Robin. She didn't go to Candace. You went to the same person twice, and you did it on purpose.
And if Giselle truly was concerned about Wendy, she should have pulled her aside. This was not a moment, though, that needed to be a part of us. It should have been a part of Giselle and Wendy, woman to woman.
I agree wholeheartedly. That should have been a one-on-one conversation.
I should have been the one that talked to Wendy before Ashley. 100%. I own that. However, for the millionth time, none of this was malicious. None of this was shady. It wasn't mean. The reaction that Wendy had, I didn't see that coming. It didn't make any sense to me.
For her to have that type of reaction, it was shocking to me. It was very eye-opening for me, and it really just made me look at her completely differently.
You want to fire shots, baby girl? I got the bazooka.
The fact that Wendy hasn't said, you know what, Giselle, what was the conversation with you and Ashley was shocking to me. Cannot believe she did not want to have that conversation with me. Because if she did, she would have been fine. It would, I would have told her, like, girl, this was nothing.
I really thought that it was going to be something that we would have like a little kiki of. Considering that, it's something that is very similar to something that I went through, I do think that it makes sense that we would have that talk. Just laugh about it or anything aside from what happened. I mean, literally, World War III transpired, and I was like, oh, what?
Okay, but Andy, also, it wasn't included, but the dress that Stacey wore at the finale, I'd worn that like 3 months before.
So did you know that Ashley, I mean, you make the dresses, you designed them, so you knew that Ashley was wearing one dress, but you told Stacey, this is what I read, you told her that Ashley had worn it.
You're exactly correct, Marisa.
I said, so how are you and Vivian? And you took a sip of your drink and you said, that bitch.
What? You know, it's really difficult for me because I chose to elevate her and have her be the exclusive fashion designer for Strays.
Okay.
You elevated Vivian. Absolutely.
How?
Did Vivian the elevation? By allowing her to be the exclusive fashion designer for the event.
I did tell her, she saw that Ashley posted it, and she actually asked me if she could wear it. And I said, you cannot wear it. First of all, it's too short for this event because everybody's appearing in a long gown. And secondly, another castmate has worn it. But she said to me, well, I'll wear it better than Ashley.
So she just went on TV and lied. That's what she's saying.
Mortified that she would put me in an outfit that one of my colleagues had already worn.
Oh, that's why you bitch?
Absolutely.
She did it deliberately?
Absolutely. That bitch.
Absolutely.
Girl, she's dead to me and it's over.
And
Okay, well, listen, I was at the event, Anya. I saw you. And full disclosure, you've designed dresses for me. I've worn them to 2 of the last 3 Emmy Awards here locally. But one thing that got me about this story, which is why I wanted to have you here, that's how the nation is getting to know you. What do you make of that introduction?
Well, I don't feel like that is my introduction because I am a worldwide known designer. I have dressed so many celebrities way beyond Stacy. And so I don't need to come here and defend myself, and I don't even have to defend myself. Shout out to Giselle and Ashley for asking her, who are you elevating? I am the one that you asked to come and help elevate your show. And I did that, and this is what I get.
That's the Stacey I shared a room with. That's the real Stacey.
Well, Wendy brought me out. Thank you.
You are a real housewife.
She's not a good friend.
Finally, we saw online that you said that she returned the dress, Stacey did, in a certain condition.
Yeah, it was very disappointing that Stacey will use her platform to try to slander my business. As a business owner, I take my business very seriously. She came to me and asked for clothes, not one, like 5 of them, to help her with improving her appearance on the show. And I did offer her that. And but then whatever happened that she was mad at me about, she returned them in extremely poor condition, really poor condition. She did not post the outfits, but she wore them on the show, so she didn't give us credit for it. So, which is very disappointing.
And the condition is it didn't smell good. The dress did not smell.
That's what you were trying to get to. Yeah.
You're trying to get me in trouble.
Well, that's what you said on the internet.
Stacey, people seem to think that your former significant other, TJ, had the opposite feeling about the cameras. He loved them.
I'm sorry. You said former?
You said former?
So they're not together anymore?
We're not together. As I've said consistently, TJ is one of the best people I know. However, it was just a lot of pressure.
So you've been separated for a year.
Yes.
Are you dating now? Are you?
I'm just gonna be completely vulnerable.
Okay.
I love someone.
Okay.
But he is a devout Christian.
Okay.
So we are not intimate at all.
This is what people do when they're on dates.
And don't they have wine?
Would you like a glass of wine?
No.
You don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't...
Leave with you. Yes, I said. That's what I thought you were going to ask her.
Could I ask for that?
Listen, you can ask Santa Claus for a new car. That don't mean you're going to get it.
And there were also moments that I saw watching the show that were shocking.
Oh, you noticing me now?
Absolutely, I was looking for you.
No, you weren't. You came to the party hanging out with everybody but me.
I didn't see you, I'm sorry.
What's wrong with you? It feels like you're hiding me.
How on earth can you say I'm hiding you? You're my best friend.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. What do you need from me to make you feel good about us?
Can I tell you?
Yes.
Can I get out my little chalk and write it on the board?
You got some chalk. Okay.
Yes.
Where's the board?
It's not here. I want you to tell people that we are dating, and I want you to tell your husband that we are dating.
To see the way that he spoke to me and to see the way my family reacted to that, it was tough. It was hurtful to hear people say that I was paying him to be on the show. Oh. It was hurtful for people to say he was more interested in the trainer than me.
Well, she's got an interesting story, and do you still believe that she is not celibate?
No.
No.
Not at all.
Not at all.
It's cute.
It's cute.
It's a good act.
It's a good act. But what did you make of her boyfriend when I think that she was like, don't you want to have sex with me? And he's like, no. Yeah. What did you think of that?
Maybe she is celibate. No. So I like TJ.
Yeah.
But I honestly, when I first met TJ, I was like, I don't think TJ knows Stacy.
Okay.
Or he wants her. Mm-hmm. They don't have that vibe.
Sure, it's more of a friendship.
A best friend.
Okay.
Which is good.
Right.
But I just don't think that Stacy knows.
Yeah. Okay.
She might know now.
She might know now. Okay.
Just because you are practicing celibacy doesn't mean that you can't have affection towards one another, hug her,
right? Yeah,
embrace her, show that you have some type of interest.
Right.
Because what we're seeing, I don't see it.
I don't see it. But does she seem happy still in the relationship, or
no?
I don't know. You don't know. Okay,
yes, sure.
What turns me off with the whole Stacy and TJ situation is it seems like he's more interested in the trainer than he is in Stacy.
And that was hurtful, Wendy. Yeah. Because you're my friend. Yeah. And TJ talks to Eddie. And they text, and you know they're friends.
It's good to meet you in the flesh.
I'm happy to be here.
Eddie, this is Stacy.
Nice to meet you.
This is my husband, TJ. Eddie, this is TJ.
Nice to meet you. You as well, man.
And I'm sorry that I made you feel that way. As your friend, I will receive that. Absolutely, 1,000%.
When did you break up?
Right around the holiday season. I am concentrating on myself.
Are you and TJ still best friends?
Yes.
So basically nothing has changed.
This is Stacy's man.
That's right.
That's right. Come on, TJ.
Claim that, May baby. Claim that, May baby. Claim that. Where you going?
I should just wait.
Y'all weren't having sex then. Y'all not having sex now.
Same. Thanks for wrapping it up, Wendy.
Then I'm gonna move on. Norm from Oakland, California said, Stacy, were you just with TJ for a storyline and also to boost his acting career? Because that's what it looks like to me. A Kenya Walters situation.
When did you think things change on the Real Housewives of Atlanta? When did you feel like as an OG, we have the #1 show as Black girls, which was a huge feat, and I was lucky to have a front row seat in that success. When did you feel like the show was changing and not what you started off as enjoying the show?
I think it started to really change probably season 4 for me. Season 3 is when they brought on, I think, Cynthia and Phaedra, and I think Kenya came on, or she came on season 4.
Season 3 was Phaedra and Cynthia.
Okay, well, whenever Kenya came on, was 4 or 5. That's when I think it changed.
Why?
I don't know. I think all these things started. So for instance, when me and Lisa and Deshaun and Sheree, all of us started, they were our real husbands and our real boyfriends. Sheree was really married to Bob, and they really were going through a divorce. Deshaun was really married to Eric, and they started to have their issues. Lisa was really with, what's his name?
Ed Hartwell.
Ed Hartwell. I was really with Greg. Kim was really with Big Papa. Our stories were real. Everything we talked about and did was real. When we had disagreements, they were real. We didn't pretend like we had a boyfriend and we didn't have one. I mean, and then I think once Kenya came on the show, I'm not saying that Kenya started it or did it, but I'm saying at that moment, it started to be, let's create our storyline.
What's going on with the whole Walter controversy? Because people are talking about it.
Walter's done and over.
He's not. You're not dating him anymore.
We have so long broken up. You know, the show was filmed many months ago.
Yeah.
And that breakup happened. And you know, sometimes people are not happy with.
Is it hard to watch now?
That was a real breakup of a real relationship.
Absolutely. It's hard to watch it. Absolutely. It was. Obviously, I look like a woman who's desperate to get married. I'm, you know, looking like I'm pushing someone, and that's not who I am. And, but I have to say this, I have learned from my mistakes and listened to the warning signs, and you have to pay attention to someone's actions and not what they're saying.
So you're single. For the men out there, are you single? Okay, single and ready to mingle.
Ricky Smiley Morning Show. This is Gary with the tea, and here's some tea for you. I'm sitting here in front of the man from Real Housewives of Atlanta. Y'all clap, give it up, y'all, for Mr. Walter Jackson. Now, Walter, we have come to like you on the show Real Housewives of Atlanta, and we know that you're here today because you want to tell us some wonderful stuff, correct?
Correct.
Okay, now, Walter, so you are the boyfriend of Miss Kenya Moore.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now, Walter, so tell us now. Kenya Moore, now, we love Kenya, honey. Now, I've been watching her lately. She's a former Miss USA, correct?
Yeah, don't call her Miss America.
Yeah, don't call her Miss America, honey. That's Vanessa's title. Now, we just recently saw the show. It was just blatantly disrespectful to you.
Yes, like I got disrespected. But we have to, I know the real story about everything that went on.
Tell us about it, because you and your folks kind of reached out to us. So just go on and tell us. Why are you here today to talk to us?
The only reason I'm here today, I had to come here to kind of protect my maiden.
Okay.
But I didn't know I was going to be so popular as far as doing the show.
Well, you ought not be so handsome.
Well, thank you. But the thing was...
That's when you say you cute, but go ahead.
You cute too? I'm sorry. But me and Kenya did date about 3 years ago. Okay. We stopped talking, stopped kind of communicating. And then all of a sudden in April of this year, Kenya stepped to me and said, hey, what do you think about being on a reality show? I said, I'm not quite sure about that.
You've heard ups and downs, mixed reviews, but
exactly.
What harm did it do?
Exactly. So what I did, I said, wait, let me get back with you. I'll get back with you tomorrow or something. So I called up, about 3 of my boys. They was like, man, I don't know. You're going to be on there with Miss USA. Hey, get your 15 minutes of fame. So that's what I did. I said, okay, Kenya, I don't mind. I'll play your boyfriend on. And that's where it led to.
You'll play her boyfriend.
I'll play her.
So you're not her boyfriend?
Absolutely.
What parts do you regret the most? Like, what makes you regret this decision?
I guess she's seen the stuff in the blog where I'm with a younger woman. Kenya Moore gets dumped by Walter Jackson. And I think she had to respond to that. And her thing was saying, hey, he don't want me. He's gay.
And that's where I got pissed off at her. How could dare she say you're gay just because you didn't want her? Is she going to sit there and do something like that what she did with Apollo while you were just sitting there? Because I was like, what is wrong with him? I'm like, how could Walter just sit here and just let her get dumped in the pool with her butt being touched on and then with her throwing him?
Well, it didn't matter to me. It wasn't my girl. So the thing, what hurts me the most, here is I help you. And now you're going to bash me, try to throw me under the bus because now you're looking bad? You made yourself look bad on the show.
So contractually, are you breaking a rule by coming forward and saying that the boyfriend girlfriend thing was staged?
No, I'm not breaking anything. I'm not trying to give any parts of the show.
And now you said you haven't spoken with her since August. No. And now also on the show. So you asked Candy for a date at once upon a time.
Me and Candy, we got best friends that are married. Hey, I said, hey, I knew Candy was single. I said, hey, tell Candy if she want to come, she can be my date. But that's where that came from. And me and Kenya talked.
So you are in a current relationship then, right?
I'm single.
Oh, well, Ebony.
Huh?
He's single. Hell, he's your profile.
What's her profile?
Light skin.
That's not true. It just happened like that a couple of times. Wow. We're talking to Walter Jackson from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. We've seen him over the past few weeks on the show, at that time as Kenya Moore's boyfriend.
Well, Walter, tell me this, so be honest. Do you think Kenya and Apollo got together? Because the way that little stuff played out there. You don't think so?
Not, no.
Or you just won't say it?
No, I don't know. I mean, you have to watch the show. I don't want to give anything away from the show.
Oh.
You have to watch the show. But Me personally, I don't.
So were you and Kenya at all romantic during this taping?
Absolutely not. I didn't see Kenya that way. I never seen her that way. Like I said, 3 years ago, we met around All-Star. We dated, and she stayed in L.A. She would come here for the weekend. And then after that, it was a wrap. We didn't talk no more for like a year and a half until she contacted me, in April.
So the thing where you met her family was kind of staged, too, part of the show?
It was not staged. I wouldn't say it was staged because her family, Bravo, let's get one thing. Mm-hmm. Bravo didn't know anything. This was me and Kenya's secret. Bravo didn't know her aunt and uncle. I felt bad after that, too, because they was genuine.
Because you look like you were not interested in marrying her at all. You was just looking like blank face. I'm like, this dude don't like her, man.
Well, the thing was, they was genuine, so I did feel a little bad after that.
Well, Walter, thank you so much for joining us, and we're going to be watching to see if we see more of you on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Good luck to you in your endeavors, and hopefully maybe you and Kenya may decide to get together.
I don't think so.
Walter wasn't as thirsty as TJ.
Are these fans of the show?
Yes, they are.
I'm confused.
No, they are. You FaceTime with TJ.
I did.
And he told you what?
He told me why he wasn't here.
Okay, why?
He said he wasn't invited.
Okay.
He said that he's never going to be in D.C. again. He said that someone owes him money.
Who?
Okay.
Who's that?
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's happening?
Not much, man. How are you? Where you at, man?
They obviously didn't invite me.
Man, okay. I was hoping to see. We got to link up next time you're in D.C., man.
Well, look, I ain't ever going to be in D.C.
Oh, see?
He said I owe him money.
He said she paid him to be here.
He said she paid him to be on the reunion or on the show?
I didn't get into that level of detail, but she said she paid him.
Man, you know she paying me to do the show, man.
Oh, that what?
He said, she's paying me to do the show.
Man.
Hold on.
Let me hear it again. I want to hear it. Let me hear
her
it.
hear it.
Man, you know she paying me to do the show, man.
Even if we're not together, to say that. I've never paid TJ a dime, and I've never owed him anything.
Are you worried that after tonight, TJ is going to post any receipts or anything?
Do I look worried?
No, you don't. No, you don't. You look very unbothered.
Because I am. God is good.
And you will rise.
Okay, stop. Let's just stop. I'm
babe,
sorry,
can we-
Stacey.
we-
And I really like you, Stacey. But this is bullshit. You know it's bullshit. Now you gonna
No,
let
I
the
don't.
people
I'm telling
bring
you the
that phone
truth.
out here with the receipts on there.
Right.
This is bullshit, Stacey, and you need to stop it.
Every one of you had doubts about TJ.
I will say it's a very interesting relationship. I think I've come to the terms, if Stacey likes it, I love it. I think it's very interesting. But
Interesting
I think
how?
interesting in the fact that if you're willing to let me date other people and you were okay with that, that means that you're probably dating someone else too, or at least exploring your options. Yeah, he was open and said that he wouldn't have a problem if Stacey was exploring her options.
Okay, let her finish.
Okay,
She's about to vindicate you.
Finish.
Yes.
I can't explain this.
Do you want to call him now and clear it up?
Yeah.
I think you should.
I will
Stacey.
absolutely be calling him with my attorney.
Oh, here we go.
Ew. Like JK, but like maybe not. But thank you for watching. But you hating ass bitches always have something to say. Hating ass bitch, but you're still watching my vids. What? You're so upset. But that's like okay, because have a piece of bread, have a Xanax, relax, because I said what I said.